welcome along, everyone. G'day, and good to see everyone who's joined. Welcome, and we're just here on Thursday night. Going to be building some Lego with some friends, which we'll all bring in very, very soon. Just sort of do the little, stuff at the beginning to get us started and things like that. And hello to the replay squad. I think there's almost as much people who watch this after the fact than before the fact. So hello to everyone out there. Do the usual, hit the like button, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff. And I don't know if I missed it on the stream last week or if it was right after it, but somebody actually did a super chat, which I think it was actually afterwards. The YouTube analytics doesn't exactly tell you exactly who did it and things like that. So I figured I should really get together and do like a thank you little thingy. So I've done one of those up. So let's see if this works.
Oh, Jesus! Oh, God! Oh, Jesus!
Thanks very much, whoever did that. I always just like that little thing from that Mr. Bean movie, so it always brings a bit of a smile to the face there. And now that we've got that out of the way, we'll get going in a second. Just want to make sure we did that. And the thing, we'll just do a little plug for the sponsor. It just helps keeps the lights on.
Top 5 most expensive Lego sets, 2022.
This video is brought to you by McCatsim Holiday Homes in Margate and Broadstairs. Great for a week's holiday or a weekend escape, being just over an hour east of London, UK. Treat yourself to amazing sunsets, a Lego wall, or great food. Visit www.mccatsim.com and mention this YouTube video and we'll look after you.
And welcome along to Mutant. Good to see you again. I imagine you're possibly just doing some homework or something like that. So glad that you could pop in for a few minutes at least. And KO, King Oldendorf, good to see you along. And the minifig who as well. Hope that you guys are all going well. And also got Andy Seston. Welcome along. Great to see you. Let's bring some people in. So, I mean, we used to always joke that Tech Tuesday would be anything but a Tuesday. But lately, we've got a high batting average here. We're actually doing some content. So welcome along to Tech. How are you going?
How are we doing, Matt? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. No, it's good. You've got some videos happening.
I have, yeah. Done 2 in, like you said, 2. It's like Monday before last and then Wednesday this week. So, yeah, I'm getting back into the swing of things. It's been fun. It's been good.
Yeah. No, it's great seeing your Star Wars one. So, because I'd seen bits and pieces of the ones that had been at, that was Bricktastic, if I got it.
Brick Festival London was the most recent one. The most recent 2 videos were actually based off of that, yeah.
Those ones there. So, yeah, no, always good just to see that there. And then also say hello to our German friend, Lady McBrick. Great to see you along. See that you've been able to get your own little Harry Potter mock and getting it opening, and that's great to see that developing.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. I'm happy and I'm devastated because the one side, it looks better than I had ever be able to hope for, and on the other side, it's not as good as it should be. There are gaps, but I don't know how to get rid of the gaps without losing the things that I actually like. Very torn. That's why it's now called the Ruins of Hogwarts, or Hogwarts in Ruins. Like, okay, it looks broken, but it's meant to be broken.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the thing with mocks, but you sort of build it and then you go, okay, this is how I can improve it. And do I want to break it down and build it back up or move on?
Right.
No, it's been great to see. And then we've also got in the Bods as well, who had a video. I discovered I didn't even know that the sets of themes percentages that you have.
Now, you broke up quite a lot for us. I don't know if that was just us, but are you talking about my latest video on brickset analytics? I find that really interesting, looking to see where I am at with images. Yeah, we're doing much better on the elves.
Yeah,
we've got 7 left to go, which is quite exciting. But I think they're going to be, well, some of them are going to be harder.
And then because you sort of see how you're yeah. And I think you're even saying, I think Tech and a few of the other guys were helping you out to acquire some of them.
Yeah, every time we go to a show, They're all on the lookout for me. Super helpful.
Eyes on the ground.
Always pays to have people doing your dirty work. Or the leg work, I guess. That's the
Legwork. So,
I appreciate
and
it.
we've got one more other person who's going to be joining us tonight. It's going to be the first time that they've actually been on a live stream. So I'd actually seen they've been in the chat quite prolific over the last number of, I guess, months now. And then I was, looking at their videos and even their Instagram story posts and things like that. Like if my videos were half as good as that, I'd be quite happy. So they've kindly, I was going to just do one of their brick films, just give it a bit of a run, and then bring them in so you can sort of see what we're sort of talking about.
What the? Oh. Hey, come on, watch the shorts! Oh no, please, not the display case! Oh, come on, man, don't desert me like this, not in a display case! I'll phone Lego and they'll delete all your VIP points. I absolutely hate display cases.
That's so funny.
So good.
That's such a cool video, and as you can probably see, there's like some really good production value in that. And then certainly for anyone who has ever attempted to do brick type films in stop motion, it's really, really challenging. So everyone sort of welcome in Trevor from Trevor's Videos.
Hey,
How
Trevor.
are you going?
Hi everybody.
Hey.
Good evening to you all.
So
That was awesome.
that was very, very cool. Love the humor in that. Do you just want to obviously we're all sort of AFOLs here. Do you just want to tell us a little bit about your sort of AFOL-ness, I guess, and how you sort of approach it and what your interests are?
First of all, thank you for the invitation on the live. I can't believe it. Normally at this stage, I'm normally frantically typing away in your chat, and I can't believe that I'm actually on your live. So a big thank you to you, Matt, for inviting me. It really is. I've always loved Lego ever since I was a child. In fact, when I was a child, I preferred Technic Lego. I don't really like that now. I prefer the actual brick-based Lego, the Ideas range particularly. But I started uploading Lego content back in October last year, gained a bit of traction with that in December. And then from January, I've really gained momentum with the channel. And I just love being creative. I always think there's creativity in each and every one of us. And I've started doing the stop motions. I did the avatar range, and I wanted the avatar to feel like a cinematic, like you're in a cinema. So with overlaying bits of the film, etc. So yeah, I just really enjoy Lego and love building. And I'd like to say that the way that the whole Lego community has welcomed me is a credit to you all, because you've welcomed me with open arms, and there is a lot of love out there within the community. So thank you.
That's great to hear. Like certainly been popping along to all the different live streams I've seen you in other chats and that there, and I think just anybody, what I've been trying to do with this stream at least is just have a bunch of people just chilling and building some Lego and stuff. So yeah, good to have you along. So
Thank you. Great to be here.
excellent. So I'll just do a quick run around. What are we all sort of building tonight or this evening? Sorry, start with tech.
I am carrying on with the Razor Crest. I'm determined by this time next week it will be built. I'm hoping to get enough done today that I'll just have like 2 or 3 bags left to do on my stream next Tuesday. So that's the plan. Hopefully we can route through some more of it today.
So when you actually start doing videos again, it takes away from building. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. You can't have both. You can't have them both. It's a fine balance. I'm not master. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Carrot says you're very good, but yeah, I'm just not as organized.
Cool.
You also have a job.
Yeah.
And Nicole, what are you sort of up to this evening?
I am going to build another banner. So for tonight, it will be Ravenclaw. And just in case I'm really fast builder, then I have Gryffindor here as well. And I have to show you this. Oh, no, I have to show you this. No, I have to show you this. This is what I'm... Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
With the books, there were so many stickers, and now we get a 3D printed layer sheet thingy.
That's cool.
That's
Yeah,
really
is it a lenticular? So as you move it,
Right.
yeah.
That's cool.
So that's actually part of the build, is it?
Right. It's a bit like for everyone who built the Friends Theater. You stick it behind and you can exchange it, and yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's I've never seen that before. Like, obviously, I don't build much Friends in that, so I'll be really interested to see how that looks.
The Friends one is brick built. This one is really printed. It's a bit like there were boxes, for example, Batman, in which you had a figure and a small bit, and then there was this 3D. Carrie, what did you call it?
Lenticular.
I believe that's the right
Yeah,
term.
I think it's right.
Right.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, it means that when you look at it from different direction, it changes.
Yeah, lenticular. I think that's there may have been another name at some stage, but this is escaping me at this stage. So, no, I'm really going to be curious to see how that looks at the end. And Trevor, what are you going to be working on this evening?
Well, I thought because this is the first ever time I've been on the live, I didn't want to build anything too big or have anything too complex. So I'm going to attempt to build that. No, I'm not. I'm not. Honest. I'm not. I'm actually going to build something that I bought from the Lego store when I went to a trip to London. I thought I can't go to London without going to Leicester Square.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to build this.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty.
It's a Starry Night, Van Gogh.
Isn't that quite a complicated one though? Because of all the stuff in your plates.
I'll soon find out. I doubt if I'll finish it this evening though, but I'm going to make a start.
Oh, brilliant.
That's great.
And Brickbots, what are you guys going to be building this evening?
We got the memo. We're doing the same thing, and he looks slightly less weird now. He's got a face.
Yeah, without the nose on, he just looks.
He looks really weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I just love him. He's so cool. He reminds me of just holding a chicken.
Yeah.
He reminds you of holding a chicken.
Just holding steady so he doesn't fly away.
Okay.
He might not fly.
That's the thing. You could do just mock it because you just need to change put some wings on it, and you could do the Bowser chicken.
I absolutely love him.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, and yeah, I'm going to be at the. Got to say the words carefully with this one. I'm going to be at the beginning of that, not the other end, but just starting with Bowser, and it's interesting because they've actually. I'm so used to occasionally when I build sets, you have like bag one, but there's 3 bags of them. But with Bowser, it's sort of like you got 22 bags, and there's only one of each.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I find the whole not knowing how many bags there are to be really annoying, particularly with Studgate, because I think it's like you get some. It's got like 2 boxes inside it, plus then other bags next to those boxes. And I think one of the numbers had a bag in every box.
Yeah. Well, several of them numbers. Spread over all 3. Very annoying.
Yeah.
They should put either put 14 one of 2, or say for this step you need 14, 15, and 16 kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Make it much easier to know you've got all the parts.
Right.
Or if you parts.
And sometimes it can be particularly annoying, particularly with bags 6 and 9, because you kind of just at first glance is that 6? Is that 9? It's not until half the time I find you've got to look at the number and there'll be something printed under it, and then you can go, okay, 6, 9.
Right.
But maybe that's just me being silly.
They normally put a dot, don't they?
Yeah.
Do they? Yeah. But isn't it only on the 1?
Only on the 1.
So it's either on the 6 or on the 9 that they put it. So if you pick up the one that doesn't have it.
But like on a bag, if it's got numbers underneath it, you know which way it's like that one, you know which way it's
Yeah.
going.
I've got 2 bag 6 here, and they've got the dot on the bottom.
Yeah.
The bottom there.
So you don't think it'll be on the 9.
I think it might not be on the 9. So when you're looking for 6 and you pick up the 9, you're then questioning, is that the 6 or not?
Such problems.
Yes. And then KO is asking Brickbods, got the Mountain View set. Is that what you're building this weekend?
No, because we still need to finish Studgate. We're trying to clear up the builds as opposed to start another one. Although it's tempting. Always.
And how are you finding Studgate thus far?
So far, not too bad. There was one part where, like, you build like the entire roof section for the lower level, and then you have to attach it onto several like lampposts. And there's just too many points to be pushing down on. It just wasn't an easy step, but it's quite sturdy now, so I'm not too worried about the fragility of it at the moment. We shall see. But that is the thing with these sets, is how fragile they are.
Did you put them on Mills plates, or do you leave them?
No, we leave them, and that was a fun thing because it was on this desk, and I was like, "Oh, I need to tidy it away," and it's so wobbly.
Yeah.
So I think it would be better on a Mills plate, but we just don't have the height clearance in our Lego room. If we start putting things on Mills plate, that will affect all the heights in the room, and we'll hit the ceiling.
And particularly, you can't put Studgate on a Mills plate without then raising up all of your train track to match.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right. Yeah, that's my
It's a
same.
lot of work.
Right, the same problem with me, because I would have to raise everything, and I thought I go to see how much it costs, and thought, okay, one plate just €2 something, and I added it up over the whole distance. It's almost as expensive as Studgate itself.
Yeah. Mills plates are not cheap.
No. But they are sturdy. I do like, especially for me with my short arms, I think it would be really nice to be able to put things in the city without worrying that it's just going to flex.
You should just get longer arms.
I mean, I don't think that's a thing. I think my arms are now my arms.
I'm curious to know, Ian, how would Kerry get longer arms?
I don't know, by stretching them.
Yeah, stick me on a rack. That would
Maybe if we just get you to, to carry around heavy weights, it'll just naturally stretch them.
I'll give it a go.
Okay.
No. I don't think there's anything wrong with my arms. Well, that's not true.
Yeah, I started looking at doing some Mills plates things because they're doing sort of a collaborative build with a few other people from the lug, and yeah, you start going through it. It's really expensive to do a Mills plate. Like I mean, how do you guys sort of optimize it or get it so you can do it cost effectively?
We just don't do it.
I guess you got to weigh up like because obviously the smaller plates you use tend to be cheaper, but then you've also got to support more of them. So you kind of got to find a balance of somewhere in between that, I guess, of like what's cost effective. I imagine a big part of it is like what color you plan on using as well. If you're trying to buy like some of the bigger, like for example, the 16 by 16 plates are quite good, but they're like £2-3, maybe even more depending on the color. And then you've got the base. You've got a base plate on top of under that, so that's going to be another £7 between 7. Well, no, what are they £8 now? Base plates for a 32 by 32. So yeah, it soon adds up.
Yeah, because I was thinking of doing something and using 4x4 plates. So because I want to do a bit of a landscape, and then for some of those things have it sort of like a little bit countersunk, so you can take away.
Yeah.
And you look at it and go, oh, that's cost effective. But then if you're on Bricklink, you generally can only get about 12 to 20 from any one seller, because nobody generally has 4x4 plates in large quantities.
Yeah.
So then you're paying all the fees. Yay.
I'm just a little annoyed with myself, because it's sort of like, how you have your lug bulk and you go, oh, this would be really cool pieces and whatever else. And so like, if I would have known at that stage about the 4x4s, it's sort of like, I know what piece I would have been putting on lug bulk this year.
Yeah. Because Matt, are you part of London AFOLs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how does their like voting system work in terms of pieces? Like what gets nominated?
It's a big lug and it's really complicated. Basically what happens is you start off with the full list. You go through and because the people who run it, they're really techie. So, and that pun wasn't intended. So you'll go through a spreadsheet, which is like a Google sheet, and you'll put in the pieces that you're interested in, which is good, because then you can start seeing, other people. Because when you got 12,000 pieces?
Yeah.
It's like, where do you start? Like,
yeah.
Okay. Minifigure nights. Yes. Okay. Beyond that.
Yeah.
So you do that, which then what they'll do is they'll do the first round. They'll cull out everything that nobody showed any interest in. And then you've got this weighted point system. So you got like 50 points, and you can sort of start voting on the ones that you like. And then you have like your what they call personal picks. So basically, if you pick something that will more or less definitely get through to the finalized round, and so then after that, they'll eliminate a whole bunch more, and then you go to another round, and then again, you'll put your preferences in, and they'll eliminate a whole bunch more. And usually by about 3 or 4 times doing that, you get down to the final 82.
Okay.
So, and when you're going through it, you can sort of go, okay, well, I like this piece. It would be really good for, Nils plates, or so you can leave a comment. So if anybody else is looking through it, they can then see and go, okay, that's why you selected it.
Right.
So it's kind of a little bit like a group think, because you kind of see what else is happening. And then other people also go through, and it's sort of like, I'm choosing this piece because, while you can get it on cheaply on Bricklink, you can get 4 of them, but I want 200 of them for a mock or something. So, it just then helps, because then sometimes if somebody really selects the piece and it's sort of like, well, nobody else really wants that. How many do you want? Oh, you want 50. I've got 50. Okay, well, I can give you that out of my collection. We won't waste the vote on the piece. So, it's quite complex, but I think it does come out with a reasonable sort of result, and it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Because usually it's the sort of thing where I think, of your 82 pieces, I think there's probably about 80 or 90 people that are involved. So, because you do it through, is it Bricksish?
Brickish, yeah.
How do they do theirs?
So they have a nomination system. So each, and I'm sure Karen will correct me where I inevitably get this wrong, but you have a nomination system and you have 5 nominations each, I believe. And then, yeah, I think it's 5. And then you get, then it goes through, and then you get 30 votes across all of the shortlisted pieces, and then it's about 70 something pieces, because they also allow, like, they do like this basic brick thing where I think, is it 8 different plate, like bits of basic plate or brick get selected across 2 colors. So it stops. So you can. So each year it's the same process as well. Like, you nominate a color, and then you vote on the color that you want, and then 2 colors get picked. So then you get, I think it's like 1x1 plate, 1x2 plate, 1x4 plate, 2x4 plate, something like that, and then the same in brick, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So that, and again, it seems to be a tried and tested method. And the other thing is, you can nominate a piece that's been selected in the last 3 years, but it won't get put up for the vote, to stop like the same pieces just getting voted each year.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite. I mean, at first it sucked, like especially last year, because there was some really cool pieces that were on the year before that I missed out on. I was like, oh, I actually would have really wanted them, but I've got to wait 3 years now. But it makes sense, because there's a lot of people that have been in that like a very long time, and so you don't want to keep getting the same pieces up for purchase. So that's fair enough.
Okay, yeah. And do you know roughly how many people do the Bricksish lug bulk?
Oh, a lot.
I think go on, Harry.
Oh, I think they published some numbers, and that, like, they were expecting to sort of reach 1 million parts or something, weren't they, this year? But they didn't.
Is it that they reached? It was more spent this year, but number of parts was lower.
Probably because they all bought minifigures.
Possibly, yeah.
I thought it was in the like. Oh well, actually, I don't know how many people take part, but I think it was around like the 80 to 90 people voted, and then there's going to be people on top of that also just like kind of go with whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the nomination bit, if you don't really care what you're getting, but you want to still take part,
yeah,
it's a bit stressful trying to narrow your choice down. So just let everyone else do that bit, and then buy what you've got. Okay. I'm just looking for that, because they did publish some numbers, and it was really interesting. So I'm just looking for those.
How it gets done, yeah. And Nicole, are you part of a lug in Germany?
No, I'm not really sure. I guess there is one, but I have not really found one close to where I live, because I really would like to do what Tech does, and Greg. I would like to participate and go there and meet people, and yeah, I know myself. I would not do that. If I found one in Munich, 6 hours by train away, probably would never meet anyone.
Yeah.
There's something I need. Sorry.
No, go, Trevor.
There's something I need to find out as well. Is there must be a local lug near me, so because I'd like to join. Like Lady McBrick says, it's nice to go out and meet people with the same interests, the same hobbies.
Where are you?
To help. I'm in Staffordshire.
Where's the Northern Brickworks lug? Where's that based out of?
Is that Yorkshire?
I thought it was York. Yeah. There's that, and then I mean, the other thing is, I mean, Tech. You're part of. Is it Gonk Lug? I mean, okay, it's Star Wars focused, but it's kind of more. It's not really location based. Am I correct in that? Or?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. It's going to be just whoever really. I think we're gonna have like, because it's all very like unofficial at the moment, and just like a few guys in a group chat, and like we're putting together a Discord server. But yeah, it's mainly for organizing like the collaboration builds and stuff that we do at shows. That's kind of where it kind of stemmed for. And basically, I just wanted an excuse to get like a new brick for my brick badge. So I was like, oh, let's make this like a lug, and then we can get brick badges. But yeah, a lot of them don't. I think I can't remember. Is it? I think Blocks magazine on their website has a list of like all the lugs, and then like which ones are like registered with Lego, which ones are not. I think it is that. So yeah, it's always worth a look. Just checking that out.
Yeah.
Something else I want to do next year, I've heard a lot about it, is Bricktastic.
Yes.
Need to go and take the children there.
Yeah, Bricktastic was very good this year. I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to next year already. Already planning the mock that I wanna take, because I didn't display this year obviously, but yeah, it was a good time.
Hang on, you're planning it already, but will you build it the night before still?
No, I would. No, I can't. Sam will actually disown me as a friend, and as much as I talk, or as much as we banter, that would really hurt my feelings. And so I when you're that, because like the mock that we're gonna do is like, it's not like the collaboration themes that we've been doing for like the Brick festivals, where we kind of all pick a theme and then just build, like do our own build based on that particular theme. We the one that me and Sam want to do is like very much, this is a collaboration build that's gonna be put together.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of engineering involved that we need to nail spot on. So yeah, I definitely won't be building this one the night before.
And just who's doing the like drawings, so you know what you're doing?
Not Sam.
Really? I like it when he draws something and then goes, "That's a rectangle," and you're like, "No, it's not. That's definitely not a rectangle."
Honestly, and it's like his pipe work, and then he just like dots the pen on the paper.
It's so funny.
But, do you know what's really funny about that, and is why I can rip Sam so much, because of how bad his drawings is because it's a miracle that he makes those drawings look as good as he does when it comes to actually building in Lego. So yeah, I can rip into him, because the end product is always very good.
Yeah,
he's a very talented builder, just not a talented drawer.
So he's good for like doing a collaborative build of one.
Yeah, yeah. Just don't share the drawings. Hi, Lego Brett. How you doing, dude?
Yeah, Lego Brett's been chatting. Welcome along. Good to see you. What's KO saying about Tech and Sam?
What is he saying? Tech and Sam never seen apart from each other during the Lego. Sam is just glued to me, KO. He just doesn't ever want to leave my side.
Unless they've got the loose Lego that you can sort through, in which case
you
just can't get Sam away from that.
But Sam, yeah, that is really what Sam is glued to. Like, he's actually a fiend. He won't just be like, "Oh, I've done that store." Like, he'll go back later as if they've just plucked more Lego out of thin air and like chucked it in the box. Like, he'll just keep rummaging and rummaging and rummaging. He's committed.
Is he really?
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, is he just like, when he goes rummaging, is he looking for something that's got a really good eye and goes, "Oh, that's a rare piece"?
Yeah, like his parts knowledge is like very good. But me and Nick, I think, were at London, and we were just like, "Oh, let's go do like a little walk around of all the display, like all the vendors." So we went around with Sam, and every single fella that had a parts bin. We were spending like 10, 15 minutes there. And so me and Nick just started like getting all the off-brand pieces and like just pieces that you wouldn't want and like chucking it in his bag when his head returned. That was always good fun.
And does that sort of explain why at one stage somebody just walked off with your was it water bottle?
Oh, I get so much stuff taken at my like it never goes too far, but I just turn around and like there's a figure been swapped out in my mark, or like yeah, just all sorts of disappearance.
It's like, what is Winnie the Pooh doing fighting Darth Vader?
Yeah, exactly. So what were you going to say, Trevor?
No, I was just going to ask Carrie and Ian how long it took to do their display.
Oh, wow. That's the question that all the kids ask. And we're like, 2 years? Because we've literally just been adding bits as we go. Yeah. So we haven't sat down and built that. It's just, oh, this looks like a fun part. Go put it in the coral ring.
I mean, when I dropped it, it took about an hour to put back together.
Well, that's
so,
good,
you know.
Yeah. You kind of know what you're putting in at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, if it looks like it could be coral, then in it goes.
Yeah.
It looked amazing. It was very, very colourful as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's what I like most about it is all the colour.
Yeah.
That's what I love about building the avatar sets is all the colour.
We definitely need to get some of the way of the walls ones and get some of the parts in.
Yeah.
We only did like the
first. Some of them were on sale on Amazon today for some reasonable prices too.
Mm.
Is that Amazon UK or Amazon Germany? Because I saw an alert, but it was Germany. Well, with the postage, it didn't seem that good a deal.
Yeah, no, the one which I saw, I'm pretty sure it was Amazon UK. So
yeah, I'll take a look.
I'm good with that. So, Trevor, have you done any sort of mocks or anything like that? Or, I mean, you mentioned you wanted to do a show. Do you have any sort of feel for what you may want to do?
If I'm honest, no. It's something I'd like to give a go. Like I say, if I can find the log and help out and help to design something, it's something I'd love to do. But as in terms of design, not really.
Yeah, so I think in terms of lugs, the closest one to you is going to be Northern Brickworks, which is South Yorkshire. I think Kerry Brickapix is in that one. And then otherwise you're either looking at London or then ones which are further north than that.
Right, okay. Thank you, Ian.
But then
British is UK based, isn't it?
Yeah, and they have like like meetups for like different regions. I know there's often like no good to you, Trevor, but there's often a Swindon one, and I think there's one that happens a bit further north as well. So, yeah.
And circling back to sorry.
Saying heading out. Thanks very much for joining us, and hope to see you later on. Have a good evening.
Yeah, I was
sorry,
looking at the
interrupting you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. 153 people in our bought stuff, and it was 930,000 bricks. So nearly a million.
Yeah. Should have bought more, shouldn't I? I'm sorry, guys. I let the side down.
We hit the limit, so we couldn't have helped more.
But don't you have a spending limit?
You do,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we all have
without one.
We all have spending limits when it comes to Lego, but it kind of goes out the window when you see something that you really want to build. I know it does with me.
So true.
Yeah.
Walk away. No, I like that set.
Not
We've
easy
got
to
April
do.
the 1st coming up.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing I wanted to sort of get a feel for you guys or bring up. Because lately, obviously, the Indiana Jones stuff has come out. The Rivendell, Lord of the Rings stuff has come out. And particularly with Indiana Jones, it's funny because a lot of those film properties, I remember seeing in the cinema as a kid, like they're kind of really old. and you see some reviews and things, and like people generally haven't even seen the movies. Do you think it might be a matter of, because those original wave came out a while ago, and because nobody particularly bought them? I mean, there was some, but they've gone up a lot in value. So people just sort of going, well, the old ones are worth money, so the new ones will probably be worth money, so I'll get them. Or
I don't know. I think a lot of people view Indiana Jones as a very classic Lego theme. There was obviously the Indiana Jones game that attaches a lot of nostalgia. Was there a Lego Lord of the Rings game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of that. And then that sort of age group that were playing those games, like, well, my age group really, were like have jobs now and maybe have like the disposable income, and that's probably why we're seeing a big resurgence in it.
Okay.
I thought when it comes to the Indiana Jones sets, that it's a split of those who know the movies, those who know it maybe just by reference from their parents, and then those who don't know the movies or the reference, but those maybe who are into architecture, and we haven't had, except of the pyramids, nothing really cool in regard to Egypt architecture.
I think that's why it's quite popular, and the same thing with Rivendell as well. I think there's a lot of appeal to that outside of people that just like love Lord of the Rings. Obviously, that's going to be the main market, but yeah, I think Nicole's right. I think especially Indiana Jones with the, like you said, that we haven't had any good Egyptian stuff since like Pharaoh's Quest, and that was just after Lord of the Rings, I believe. So yeah, it kind of kills two birds with one stone, I guess.
Right.
And I guess with Lord of the Rings, I mean, we're saying that it's quite old, but I think they were maybe also counting on the Rings of Power being better than it was.
Yeah.
Because Amazon have gone suspiciously quiet about viewing figures. They made a big fuss about how many they got for the first episode and then never mentioned them again.
Yeah.
So I don't think it did that well.
No.
But I think Lego were maybe hoping that would get a lot more interest in it. But at the same time, they kind of hedged their bets and went for an older set, knowing that if it tanked, they'd still get enough people interested in it to make it worthwhile.
Yeah. I guess I know specifically like a Lego Star Wars designer had been asked this in the past, and they said that it doesn't play into account like the secondary market of so I think the question was along the lines of this particular set is worth X amount of money on the aftermarket, which is 10 times its original retail price. Does that ever like factor in some of the sets that you then go revisit? And at the time they said no. But it is interesting with Lord of the Rings that they did a big set that yes is iconic, but I feel like some of the other sets that they had already done would be more iconic, but they've chosen this one because they didn't do it before, or at least in like a big grand scale, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it was so before, in order to get all of the main characters, you needed to buy lots of different sets. This was pretty much the only scene in the movie where all of them are in one place.
Right.
So that's why they've done it, because it's people want to get all of them, and they're not doing a full range of sets, although they might be doing more sets, maybe.
And they could create all the minifigures then in one set.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe it may have even been Ian when it was first announced or dropped, and I sort of commented, well, why wouldn't you do it as three different sets that you can combine together or something like that? And sort of said, well, if you do it like this, you don't have to do it as a wave. You can do it as a one-off set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like you don't have to do it as a theme in and of itself. Was that you who said that, Ian, or was that somebody else?
That sounds like something I might have said. It's hard to know. I say a lot of stuff. Most of it's nonsense.
Yeah, I agree with that.
No, I certainly. What you brought up there with the games tech, I'd never thought of that, and that was certainly a really interesting point. And then certainly the Egypt stuff, because the kids had to do Egypt as one of their themes in school, and
Yeah.
you know, particularly during lockdown, you know, looking for things that you could build or, you know, ideas and things. And surprisingly enough, there wasn't a great deal of, like, in terms of monuments or things that you could go, yes, that's Egyptian as such.
Yeah.
And certainly seeing one of the new sets there with the giant statue figures falling over and all that sort of stuff. It's like, yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's the only one I'll watch, because I must have watched Indiana Jones when I was younger, but I haven't watched it in a long time. My brother did actually lend me the DVDs the other day, but I'm not going to go out and buy all of the sets. Like, I might get the updated Indiana Jones figure, but I do kind of want the Egyptian one, because that's they're like, is it the £30 or £40 set? Like, that looks quite cool.
Yeah, I mean, certainly from what we've seen so far, the prices on them are actually quite good.
Yeah.
So,
I like the diorama, the Temple of the Golden Idol. I really like that one.
Yeah.
I like how they've incorporated all, you know, the whole scene in the diorama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one I'm most interested in getting out of them.
Yeah, me too.
Although the car looks kind of nice.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but we don't have any need for the airplane is the thing, and so if you don't need half the set, it gets harder to justify it.
Right.
yeah. Well, it's certainly, because I think that's only, is that like a £30 set, or is it 25 or?
I think so.
Because that's the thing. Let's say it's 25 and it goes on, you know, sale for, you know, conceivably 18 or 17. It's like, that's actually probably not bad for what it is.
Yeah. And again, like, you look at the range of sets that they've done, like that car and plane set would appeal to someone in that likes the like more military stuff that Lego just never touch. So that fills a gap in that market as well. You got a set more Egyptian based, like, so I think that's why it's quite good, and they're kind of hitting a few different audiences with Indiana Jones. I think that's going to be why it's quite popular.
Yeah. Trevor, you've been getting some comments on your setup behind you. Are those IKEA cabinets?
Yes, they are. Yeah. Good old IKEA.
So, and with your video, you were kind of there joking about glass displays and things like that. Well, what's your sort of take on that? Do you like them? Not like them?
I like them in certain degree, but some sets warrant them, and some sets don't really look any different in a display case or cabinet. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I mean, Tech, you've obviously got one for, I think, your Disney castle. Do you have one for more?
I have more in a cabinet in the IKEA Vesta cabinets with just some glass fronted doors. So that's in amongst. I think I've got him with like all my other helmet sets. Like the helmet sets are like just behind him. So yeah, it's wanting to display stuff dust free is the biggest thing, especially on like the bigger sets.
I agree. Yeah, I bought one for the motorized lighthouse.
Okay.
Because that's a fairly big set.
Yeah.
But it's also the cost, I find. I mean, the ones I bought, the ones I found were from a company called Wicked Brick.
Yeah.
And the quality is excellent, but the cost, you couldn't afford to put everything that you own and build into a display case. You just couldn't.
Yeah, you almost have to.
Sometimes it costs more than the set.
Well, yeah, you have to factor in the price of like, oh, can I afford getting the Razor Crest this month? Okay, yes. Am I going to want this just like out on the side? Oh no, I'm going to need it. okay, so now I can't afford this because I'm going to spend £200 on a display case for a
Yeah,
£500 set. Like, it's like, oh, okay, I'll save a bit longer then.
Because I was having a look at some of the wicker brick ones too, and because they seem like a good brand, and everybody's I've never really heard anyone say anything bad about them other than the price, but that probably means they're good quality. But the other thing I noticed was the lead times on them was something ridiculous, like it's a couple of months.
Oh yeah. I ordered a case, I think back in October, and I got it last month. So
they're not the quickest.
No, everything's made to order, and I think they've been taken by surprise on some of the cases that because they're made to order and people have bought a lot of a certain case. I think they wish that they'd built some, prior to on putting them on sale, so they had them just to ship out. But I think it's taken them a lengthy time to ship them all out. To be fair, well, they are good quality though. I will say that.
My biggest problem with wicker brick in that regard was that they had orders that were like, I know friends firsthand that placed orders and were like 6 to 8 months into waiting for their order, and then they were still sending stuff out for like creators for like to review. That didn't quite sit right with me. I don't know how other people feel about that. Like, I get that they've got to push out their product, but to send free stuff out to content creators to review and kind of promote their brand when they've got orders that like outstanding orders just doesn't quite sit right with me.
Yeah, I mean, if they've got that bigger backlog, do they really need to be promoting themselves?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Work through the backlog, and as it starts to get down, that's when you need to start pushing it out. If you're already getting more orders than you can satisfy, you don't need to do advertising.
Yeah, you need to do like improvements on your assembly line kind of thing. That's where you put your
because all it's going to do is just going to put people off.
Yeah, and then you get situations like this where probably only 1 or 2 of us really knew about that detail, but now there's at least 6 of us plus whoever is watching. Like,
right.
I mean, that was going to lead me on to something else in terms of how, and I'm going to take this individually at that. Oh, just before I get on to that. Oh, Monarch, thanks very much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Glad that you are enjoying the discussion, and I guess I can go and actually make use of my little thing.
Oh, Jesus! Oh, God! Oh, Jesus!
I don't know whether it's just me. That always brings a smile to my face, seeing that little gag.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen the Spoon movie. Clearly missing out. You seen the Mr. Bean movie?
I think I have.
Say welcome along to Ben's Brick Designs. Good afternoon. Good to see you. And Zushi as well. Good to see you. All popping along. Appreciate you spending some time with us. Unfortunately, we end up getting a lot of Lego and stuff. We go through, we build it. Some things that we put on display. What do people do with the excess? I'm just kind of curious, because I'll start off with Nicole, because I think I saw yours a couple of years ago. You were actually breaking them down and putting them in their own bags or something? Like, what's your sort of system?
I had to. While living in the old apartment, I didn't have a Lego room. I only had an apartment. And my whole Lego collection just spread out over the whole apartment. And I had everything on display. Then I moved to this apartment and I had to disassemble a lot. So I have 10, 12, I think it's 12 moving boxes of sets in zipper bags. And my plan is to have my current space for the display pieces, and then everything that is in zipper bags and that I want to put on display, I will have them on rotation. So everything that I buy in future, I will build them, put them on display, disassemble them, then something else will be put together again, maybe old sets, maybe new sets, and then a certain display area will just be on rotation.
Good idea.
And something that I don't like anymore will go into my loose bricks collection. And now everyone needs to pray for me, so that this will help me to avoid the chaos that used to be my apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much easier to say than to do, isn't it?
Right.
Our house isn't chaos at all, is it?
No, not at all.
No.
So how does Ian and Kerry organise theirs?
I think organise is a very loose term. We try.
Do we?
No. I try. We build too much too quickly, and so we never really have the time to put it in the right place or do anything with it. And that's something we're trying to fix. So we've been working on like our loose parts collection, getting that kind of a little bit more organised, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then I try to make it so that once I've built something, it doesn't stay in this room too long. But I have this problem that I can't build a Lego set and then feel like I just did it for fun. Like I want to make a video with it, and so it just queues up in this room waiting for me to make that video. And then I'm sat here staring at them all, thinking, "Oh, look how much stuff I've got to do videos for," and it stresses me out. So I've just started dumping them upstairs. Just fun. So we have an extra Lego room now.
How do you sort of organise your loose parts collection? Because obviously, when you're doing mocks and things like that, you're probably going to be reaching for parts and going, "Well, where is that?"
Yeah. So we have a differing opinion on how to organise it. Ian thinks it should be done by colour, which I think is insane.
I think it makes a lot of
No,
sense to do it by. So the main thing that we need loose parts for is for things like scenery and other bits in the city to join the sets together. And a lot of times at that point, you don't care whether you're using 2 1x3 bricks or 1 1x6 brick. You just want the correct colour. You're putting in like a bit of mountain, a bit of wall, a bit of stream, whatever. You're doing it. So you want to just go to that colour and go, right, these are the bits I've got. I can arrange them like this. And I think that's very different to if you're trying to make a mock where you want it to look exactly like something, then yeah, at that point you need the exact brick. And I think if I was doing that, I'd want the parts organised differently.
What if we want to do both of those things?
Well, you don't do any mocks at the moment.
Well, I think you'll find there's one upstairs right now.
Ian, warning.
So this is what Carrie organises the bricks that then I use in the mocks. So it's a little bit confusing.
I am building something at the moment.
Are you? What are you building at the moment?
You have to wait for tomorrow's video to find out.
Do I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you could just go upstairs to the Lego room and look. There's that option. You actually live here. You could.
That's quite far.
Yeah.
I'll just wait for the video.
I think that's smart.
Yeah.
Also, it's on the floor. You might tread on it. Don't do that.
Okay. That's how we organise our sets. We just leave them on the floor.
Yeah.
That's what my table football is at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Ours is on
How
the
do
sofa.
you? How do the kids know what to touch and what not to touch?
They just touch it all. That's how it
Yeah,
works.
I don't really have a policy of them not being able to touch stuff
I do.
because Well, you do, but you're a bit special like that.
Mm.
They're gonna touch stuff, and we're gonna have to fix it. And I don't, trying to stop them is futile, really. So you may as well just accept stuff is going to get changed, stuff is going to get broken.
Yeah, so they found the Winter Chalet at the moment. They've been playing with that, and the Home Alone house. Those are the two sets that they play. But they play so lovely with them because obviously they're quite little, and like small world play is quite big for them. So they'll be making up stories, and they're essentially just moving their people around like it's a doll's house. So they're not doing too much damage. Occasionally there'll be like an explosion and they'll just break the set. Those are the annoying bits. Like, oh no, it's blown up. And I'm like, we don't do that with Mommy's sets, please. Maybe just yours. But it's fun to watch them play, so you've got to allow it.
Yeah.
Up to a point.
At least with Lego, it all goes back together again.
Yeah. As long as you can find the parts.
Yeah, true. We always tried to put it back together the way you thought it went back together, and you end up thinking, how did it go back? And you don't want to get the instructions out.
That's fine. That's you're modding the set. It's fine.
And then I think Ben's Bricks Design, when my kids were smaller, even the display stuff, my policy was it doesn't leave the house.
That's fair.
Yeah, certainly when the boys were a bit younger, the number of Star Wars minifigures that ended up outside for some reason was a little bit. I mean, the same sort of thing. It's it's there. They can play with it. They're enjoying it. But then they end up outside in the grass, and the next time they're seen is flying out a lawnmower.
Oh no!
That figure's worth £300, and I was going to put that on eBay when you forgot about it.
That's not good.
So, Trevor, how do you sort of deal with your sets and parts collections and those sorts of things?
At the moment, I'm doing okay. I'm not really outgrowing. I need to be buying and building more, I think.
What do we think, guys? Give him about 6 months.
Yeah.
it always gets there eventually.
Yeah. I've had to buy a cabinet just for the Avatar range, so what does that say? But at the moment, I'm doing pretty well. So, but I'm sure there will come a stage. I know my eldest son, with the Speed Champions, we're already running out of room in his room. So we're on the landing now. So I'm sure it won't be long before he encroaches on other rooms. That's why I bought the art set, because now I've got the walls to go at.
Yeah.
Right.
You're already strategically planning it.
Yeah. Don't go out and buy a painting. I'll build one.
Cool. Tech and dare I even ask?
Yeah. So today I actually went and bought a storage unit. One, because I want to force myself to actually go through all of my old, because a lot of my old built sets that I just have no use for are just in boxes under my bed back at my mom's house. And so I bought the storage unit, one, because she's been on at me to tidy that room up. So rather than just go and like reorganize it, I figured like, okay, I want to actually get rid of a lot of it. And so I figured, if I'm actively paying for a storage unit, I should force myself to sort through it and like start selling some stuff. And so, yeah, that's going to be the next project over the next, couple of months probably, to like really go through it, check if all the parts are there, order parts that aren't, and then like start selling them maybe at one of the conventions. But yeah, the majority of my sets are just, they're either in my cabinet back at home, or in a really useful box under my bed.
And
which
you
is not
have
fun, and it's not how it should be. And like recently, I have been a lot more selective with what I buy, and like the decision to get rid of a load of sets. I'm definitely going through the phase at the moment of like, well, rather than having like 3 different versions of this one Star Wars ship, I'd rather like have it like 7 times. I'd rather have like 1 or 2 custom models that all look the same and like look a lot more accurate. Like that's kind of where I'm at the moment. So I think once I sell some stuff, I'll kind of put the funds towards getting some like brick roll or like some rebrickable stuff.
Yep. So do you, being a Star Wars fan, with some of those sets, if you do end up selling them, are you concerned about the minifigures in terms of, not so much having them all, but having a good diversity, or are you less attached to them?
The majority, if not all, I will probably sell without the figures because a lot of them are a lot older figures that I do want to keep. I don't know. I guess I'll go through it and have a look. I think because of a lot of those sets, I've had my fun and my use, and I feel like I've got my money's worth with them. A lot of them I'm not going to be trying to sell for like the absolute optimum. I'm going to go and just like be very honest. If the set's like got poor sticker placement, I'll like very clearly advertise that. I'll price it accordingly. I feel like I've got my value for money out of it, and if I can just get some money for them, it'll be fine. But yeah, in terms of figures, I think I'll end up keeping a lot of the figures. I can't see me going through and getting rid of a lot of those. But we'll see. I guess it'll be a set-by-set basis, I think.
Yeah. And Monarch's got I think he probably echoes most of our sentiments to Trevor. It always starts as a small collection.
Yeah.
I've been warned.
By Christmas. And just if you don't mind, Tech, in terms of the storage unit, what sort of size and just ballpark sort of price are you looking? I'm just curious.
Well, so initially we looked at getting like one of the what is it, like, I don't know if it's necessarily this brand, but like the big yellow storage things where they're like inside in a like temperature controlled and all that kind of stuff. But they were like so expensive for like a 6 foot by 6 foot space. It just like wasn't cost effective, and it was also a lot further away from where we are. So then it's like, oh, am I going to want to go and drive 20 minutes after I've been to work to go and kind of sort that stuff out? So we actually found like a lot of the farms around will kind of have just like shipping containers, and they've got like 20-foot shipping containers. So we've got one of those, and I think it works out to like about £140 a month with that. And so if I like sell some stuff, I'll recoup some of the costs for that. Just generally, we could do with some extra space because of the apartment we live in. We don't have like any outside storage, so we could use like a little bit extra storage anyway. And I have bought a lot of investment sets that I want to start flipping now because they're kind of at that point where it's like the sort of 2-3 years since they've retired. So I can start sort of generating some money, and I would like to do that a bit more. Start getting into flipping a bit more. So yeah, that kind of space will help facilitate that, really.
Yeah, the one thing I would say is I bought some sets, I think, during the summer, which were on sale, like Argos or something like that, and I put them just in the garage, and I sort of left them there, and then just recently started to go back out and grab them, and it's like the garage, it's not temperature controlled, it's not part of the house or anything like that, and so the area is quite cold. And the thing which I really noticed was, even though it's a relatively dry space, all the sets, like all the boxes, you could feel have gotten moisture into it. And then when I opened it up, like all the instructions were completely warped and what have you. So, I mean, it didn't bother me because it's sort of like, well, you were dumb enough to leave it out there. But it was things that we were going to build, and like, you know, we did end up building, and the kids play with it and stuff like that. But certainly, I don't know what it's like, but just be a little bit conscious that it actually didn't take long for that to happen either. It was only a couple of months. So
yeah, that is one thing that I have definitely thought about and like will bear in mind. They have all of these ones or the ones that I went with, they had been like they're like double layered, and they've been like, I'm assuming it looks like it's been painted inside with this like anti-condensation stuff. And they said that as long as you don't put a load of things that have like high contents of moisture in, then it should be okay. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a thing over the next couple of months. I'll just like keep a very close eye on. And if that, and I like any of my sets that I will like investments, like sealed sets, are definitely they'll be like double boxed and things like that. And yeah, I'll just sort of keep a real close eye on it.
Yeah, because it could be the sort of thing like if you left it out in conditions over winter and then you came in summer and you sold it, particularly if somebody gets it and then opens it up and goes, "Oh, wait a minute," because it can look okay on the outside, but then
yeah, exactly.
You'll get potentially a few angry customers, shall we say?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, I think when you're in other places, Ben's Brick Design in Texas, it's too hot to be temperature controlled. I think we're thinking more of the opposite way. And then, I think, just in terms of Mandalorian, we want to be spoiler free for the episode that was yesterday. So just if anyone wants to talk about Mando, just anything other than yesterday's episode, because I think it's some people won't have seen it yet. Monarch, one thing to hopefully doing this year is get an outdoor storage, as the garden is plenty big enough. So only foot one cost for it. Yeah, if you got the place to do that and invest in a building, which will probably add value to the house anyhow. Thank you everyone for amazing live. Had so much fun. Congratulations, Trevor, on your first live. I'm going now, but don't worry, I'll be back in the future. Thanks very much, Lego Bro, for stopping along.
Thank you, Lego Bro.
Good evening, and thanks for being active in the chat there. Because we certainly, in terms of Lego, like the kids. We just wanted it to, be something they could play with. And the thing which we found is originally when they were much younger, we would get sets and sort of build them, but then they wouldn't necessarily take them apart or do anything. Or if they got broken, it would kind of just end up in a box somewhere. And then I still had like a box of Lego from when I was a kid. And the funny thing is they would get that box and they would actually build stuff out of it, like just do their own, make their own cars or whatever it was, and completely freeform and that. So out of that, we sort of started to then organize it into like screw drawers and things. So that was. And organize it, and we printed out labels and things, so then we knew where stuff would go, and they could, grab it. So it became a very functional sort of thing. And whenever they're away from their screens, they're always just messing around and building stuff and what have you. So unfortunately, as I sort of said, sometimes the figures ended up outside and things. So in terms of how our sort of storage system works, but there is some sets which at one stage we were looking, the kids wanted to do a Lego city, so we had a number of the modulars and all that, but then combination of running out of space, and they sort of grew out of that idea. It's sort of then, okay, we've got all these modulars that we had sitting around, and then started just running out of space. So sold some of those. Because half the time I'm just after the build experience in any event. So you got to build it, and then at that stage, it's sort of like, okay, I bought the modules and that, and like I've gotten like the Simpsons house and Quickie Mart and those ones for relatively cheap prices, and then when we decided to sell them, it's actually managed to pretty much sell them for twice what we paid for them, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's but then, you know, similar to I think what you're sort of getting at there, Tech, and in terms of once you've sold them, then that sort of usually ends up going back into more sets that you buy anyhow. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, oh, at least you're not feeling that pain as much.
Yeah.
And then just recently, within the last sort of year, wanted to get the kids a little bit more entrepreneurial, or just sort of understanding how some things work. So just had a lot of excess stuff. So, you know, they've got their own little Bricklink store, which is up and going. And the first couple of sales they made, they're sort of like, oh, great. You know, you make the sale for £20 and you get the £20. And it's like, nah, it doesn't quite work like that. You know, you've got PayPal taking their commission. You've got Bricklink taking their commission. You need to allow for the fact that you're, you know, going to buy a few more sets to stock up and things.
And then the government comes and takes a bit of your profit.
Yep.
No, it's been good because we've been, you know, that they're starting to look at, you know, using spreadsheets and tracking things, and because we say, you know, a percentage of the sales they can have outright as, you know, money to spend and things like that. So whenever they want, you know, the latest, you know, DLC for a game or something like that, it's sort of like, well, you know, do you have enough from your Bricklink store? Sort of thing. And, you know, sometimes if not, it's like, well, you know, maybe there's a couple of other sets over there that need to be parted out. You know, maybe that might help some sales. Like,
That's good. I like that.
So yeah, no, it does sort of help a little bit.
I haven't stolen my part again. That's okay.
But I mean, it's obviously Tech. You have some that you've sort of tagged for investment as such. Do other people sort of think of some of the sets as investments, or what's your sort of thoughts on those sort of things? I mean, Lady McBrick, obviously you've got yours very structured and organized, and
but only recently. But I not at all. Everything that I buy it to build it. It's either build it directly as a set, or I know that the set will just be bought for the pieces and that's their purpose. But I never buy anything to sell it, because I might be an accountant. Maybe that's the problem. I am an accountant. I know that if I wanted to sell it, I would need bookkeeping. I bought this set for 50 euros. So I need to keep in mind to sell it at least for 50 euros. Because otherwise it could happen that I totally forget, like the icon set, Hedwig. Every time when I see the price that I paid for it, I am shocked. It could happen that 5 years later, I think to myself, I guess I paid 150 euros. I get 180, sounds like a good deal. Then 4 weeks later, I realize, oh, I paid 250. Someone is happy now. Not a good business person.
I definitely only like track like things in like sealed stuff. I'd never. Maybe going forward it might be a bit different, and I might be about to contradict straight away what I'm about to say, but like I've never really bought a set, opened it, and then intended on selling it straight away.
Yeah.
And like I think at that point that's when I kind of go, okay, if there is something that I have built that I want to then sell, I've got my fun from it, and then like that is what it is. anything's a bonus.
Yeah.
I have looked at more recently, like buying sets just for figures and then selling the set to like a bricklinker.
Yeah.
Want to buy the parts at like a reasonable price, and that they can then make money on it. Because I don't really have the time nor patience to like set up my own bricklink store.
Right.
But yeah, so someone else that's already doing it and has the infrastructure, and they can get hold that wants like parts for their store is like something that I've sort of started doing with some sets. So.
That makes sense.
My problem is that if I buy it with the intention of selling it, I never sell it. So I know myself.
So yeah, but we do have some sets. So we have a spare of every modular, which is kind of investment.
It's what it actually is like a buffer for our Lego to see, so that if we ever find ourselves needing cash, we don't have to sell the real Lego, we just sell the spare Lego. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was all like an accident that it happened, because we bought the first modular and 2 turned up and they didn't want the other one back. So we were like, okay, we'll do this. And then we saw how much that was valued at. We're like, okay, we'll keep doing this.
Right.
But that's literally all we do, isn't it? I've got some minifigures that I bought a whole box, and I was like, oh, I'll sell the spares. Never sold.
Yeah. Right.
We've got a couple of sets where we've bought extra.
I think we bought the crocodile locomotive. We
Yeah.
thought would be a good one, and I think we've got a dinosaur set. It's like one of the Jurassic ones, but
Yes, yeah, because that was the plan. Some of the Jurassic World sets were on crazy sales.
Yeah.
And so I think the idea was that we could open it, sell the dinosaur, and then use the parts, and the cost and selling the dinosaur would get back the cost of buying it.
Yeah,
we've just not actually got around to doing it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think that investing in Lego to sort of subsidize your own Lego hobby makes sense, because you're then just trying to save yourself a bit of money.
Right.
We're not trying to make money. We're just trying to fund a habit that is getting out of control.
Yeah.
So but we're just so bad at actually selling the stuff.
Yeah.
And then again, with this Bowser set, I bought this with the intention of selling him because I just wanted the experience of building him. But now I've fallen in love with him, he's probably not actually going to make it out of the house.
And that may happen with the TIE Fighter as well.
Oh, you think you're going to want to keep the TIE
I don't know. I can see us never selling the TIE Fighter, but who knows?
Yeah.
The instructions are signed by the designer, so it must be worth a fortune.
Yeah. He didn't sign it across. I wanted him to sign it across his own forehead on the picture, but he refused to do that. That would be funny.
Ben's Briggs designed said here, wow, that's expensive at a go. And every time we find something on severe discount, our lug ends up buying a lot for the drafting. Yeah. No, I think much the same. I'm not sure if I can blame Tech for this from his original Tech reductions, getting stuff on sale. But there's very rarely gets something, day one or anything. It's usually waiting the 6 to 12 months for a decent discount. Which is then why, a lot of the backlog is then when you're building stuff, it's like, from like a year or two ago. Because it just seems crazy to be, unless something is, you're really into the property or want it day one, paying full retail is kind of, it's just going to mean you're going to have less to actually get purchase from your Lego. Because even with the kids, sometimes when we've been out to Legoland, of course, they want to go through the shop at the end. And it's like, buy this now. And you're like looking on Amazon. It's like, I can order this now and you can have it tomorrow and it'll be £20 cheaper.
Yeah. Right.
And sometimes, trying to convince them of that is a real challenge.
I can imagine.
That's where Legoland get you.
Yeah. And at least before, we haven't been there for a while. You didn't even get VIP points or anything with it.
No.
So, and then I think Tech, it was you who pointed out you can actually get like a 40-minute pass in, pass out. So if you go there, pay your ticket, go in, buy something, and walk out within 45 minutes, they'll refund your ticket. Is that how it works?
Yeah. If you just go to the customer service thing, and you just basically like a sign in, sign out thing. Yeah. It's been good when they've had like sometimes they'll sell promos for like the price. That can always be quite good. I got the what promo? Oh, I got the Iron Man with the what's it called? The Avengers Tower gift for purchase. That was quite a good find I had there, and some Hidden Side ones as well. Because I kind of missed the boat on Hidden Side when it was coming out, but I kind of, as the last wave come, I wanted like a lot of the vehicles, and so they had what was it? They had like the little race. I think there was like a race car gift for purchase, and also like a shack thing, or like a chef polybag thing. Oh no, juice bar. I think it was. So, so sometimes the promos show up there, so that can be quite worth it. And they've also got like the Mythica set and some other bits and pieces. They have a very, very lackluster pad wall. It can be worth it sometimes.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned that to a few other people because they're like, "Oh, we live so close to Legoland," or it's like, there's no Lego store next to us, and it's like, wait a minute, you live next to Legoland, don't you? And it's like, yeah. It's like, I think somebody was telling me that you can get these pass in, pass outs. It's like, oh, we'll have to go and try that. That's interesting. Like, so,
how are you getting on with the build, Matt?
Yeah, I've done the sort of base with the tower, and
did we skip the stone? we went straight on to the good part.
Yeah, it's interesting just being building with even when we were doing the foosball. Okay, you guys obviously you got it from a different way, but then just the way that you sort of went, no, we'll just skip over the minifigure bits and things like that, and just how different people go for different things. I'm probably more of a start at bag one and just work through. But
I'm the same as well.
I don't know, I just found the stand doesn't look all that exciting. This Bowser is clearly the main attraction, and they obviously had parts left over, so they were, we'll make that as well.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm discovering that I quite like structures. Like, that's probably why I like the modulars, and like even building the Black Panther. It's sort of like I like the actual framework for it, maybe not so much the finish. But it's a nice little one to do there. So, Trevor, how are you getting on with your poly bag?
Oh, that's done.
So I'm just getting up here. So
Taking shape.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Very cool.
It's quite deep, isn't it, this set?
Yeah.
You've got to find a place in your house that you don't walk past too close.
I was thinking that. I'm thinking if I put this on the landing, I'm going to knock this off.
Right.
Does it
And
sort
would
of
you
seem that
believe-
you'll be able to pop off that main bit which sort of sticks out there, or is that just too heavily integrated into it?
That is too heavily integrated. That won't come off.
Okay, then. Yeah,
It's
so-
all part of it. And I do notice on Wicked Brick's website that they actually make a display case for this for a wall.
Mm.
And how are you finding the build so far?
Really enjoyable. It's really good. It's intricate, like Carrie said. It is an intricate build, but it's very nice to see it layered. It is nice to see it coming together. Yeah, really enjoying it.
Oh, excellent. And Tech, how are you getting on with yours?
So far, so good. We've got one pretty much fully formed engine on that side. We're just working on the other one. I think there's, well, actually, that's a lie because there's definitely something to go on the bottom there, I hope. We've got one side of the engine fully formed. So, yeah, we've got another, I've just opened bag 30 or 31.
Wow, 31 bags.
After that. So, we're getting there slowly but surely.
Obviously, with something like that being relatively symmetrical, are you sort of feeling it, like in terms of, oh, I've just built one engine, oh, now I've got to pretty much do the same thing again, or?
I was on my streams, I think, because you kind of feel a bit responsible to host, especially because I stream on my own, so like keeping up with chat, staying engaged enough in conversation that I actually know what's going on, which I struggle to do quite a lot. I find that quite. I definitely notice repetitive builds a lot, but this is not so bad. Just sort of general chit chat and working my way through. So yeah, it's not felt as bad today. It had started to feel like that on some of my own streams though.
Okay. And how many bags are in that altogether?
36.
And is that the one where you've got like 2 bag 2s and 3 bag 3s, or is it just?
There's some that are like there was 2 bag 30s, 2 bag 28. So yeah, there's occasional they'll have an extra bag of numbers. So yeah, I imagine there's probably about 50 across the build, maybe a bit less, 45 something like that.
Yeah. And I don't know if we should be bringing this up. I'm not into Friends, so I think I'm safe. But Main Street at John Lewis is 40% off.
That's very good.
Wow.
So we finished Bowser, and we just we used the interactive feature, and I think we've taken a chunk out of our wall. Did you hear the noise?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, he's so cool. He's a lot chunkier now. Like he's really quite heavy.
Yeah.
It's like lifting up a toddler. Look at the shell. The shell's so cool.
Yeah.
It's really
I
good.
really like that
His
Bowser.
little floppy tail.
Where are you going to put him?
Just here. It's very similar. Yeah. There we go. Sorted. Don't
Yeah.
feel balance.
So
Hello.
I so want to see Bowser Chicken.
He's so
You'll have
cool.
to do that for a show.
Get him some wings.
He's so cool. He's massive.
That's the thing. If you could get it so that you like pump his arms and like an egg falls out the bottom or something.
That would be cool. Oh, how do I do that? How did he shakes his head? He's like, no, I don't want to be a chicken. Don't make me a chicken. You're cool. Oh, he's so cool.
No.
I would recommend this set.
The only reason I really like, I'm not a massive Mario fan, but like Bowser was always one of my like go-tos for like Mario Kart and things like that. It was like one of the playable characters. My brother has got the set. I love the like sculpture aspect of it. It's very similar style to like the Simba that got leaked, which I absolutely love. And I feel like if I ever did a Lego City, I would really want Bowser like tearing down the streets against like the Monkey Kid neck or something.
So large.
Yeah, it'd be
I
like
don't think
Godzilla.
our streets are big enough to take him.
Yeah, he'd struggle to fit down the road, wouldn't he? You definitely couldn't do it with the road plates. You need road base plates. In order
Yeah.
to
He's a chunk.
Well, funny you should mention that because Minifig, who said something similar, lend him to climb up his Bricklink construction site.
Yeah.
He's hefty, but I have no idea where the thing that came out of his mouth went. You know how they put in the book, like, be careful of your eyes?
Yeah.
They're not wrong. That would have blinded someone.
Almost got it that way. I mean, speaking of Mario Kart, I don't know if people have seen today the official announcement of the 2K Drive Lego driving game.
Yeah, I saw something about that earlier.
Yeah, so they've officially announced it. I think you can pre-order it. It's released, I think, May 15th or 19th. And you've had, I think, Amasaurus and PD Bricks and a couple of those guys got, they took them out to 2K. And, you know, of course, they've all been blogging it and all the rest of it. So, how, just in general, how sort of into the sort of Lego games do people get? Like, is it the sort of thing you do, you don't? Trevor, I'll start with you.
My kids do, yeah. I don't particularly, but both my boys do, yeah. Lego Star Wars and everything.
Yeah, because it seemed like maybe it's a while ago now that you obviously had the expanded Skywalker Saga, which came out, I think it was April last year, and certainly our kids went through the whole thing of that and loved it, and after about a month then moved on. Like, I mean, Brickbods, how do your kids get into it? Are you into any of the sort of Lego games?
We've not done any sort of video games with the kids yet. They're still a little bit too young.
Okay.
But we used to enjoy playing like the Lego games on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
I was so bad at them though.
Yes.
I think I almost lost my best friend because she was so fed up with me just falling off the cliff over and over again. I thought it was hilarious. She's like, will you just concentrate?
Yeah. I mean, that is your only exposure to Star Wars, isn't it? It's through the Lego Star Wars.
And that's why I always sing the Cantina song. I spent a lot of time in that Cantina.
It's all making sense now.
And then more recently, we tried the Brick Tales
that's the one
thing, and we didn't.
I mean, we only tried it because they gave us it to download for free, so we thought we'll give it a try. And it wasn't too bad, but we didn't like it.
No.
What was it about, that Brick Tales?
So you had to like make bridges and things, so you were essentially like, it was like you were using a weird version of Studio to build things, to solve puzzles. So you have to make structures to climb up and things, and it wasn't too bad. And you had to find things, but you can either go, just make it simple and solve the puzzle, or you can be a bit more creative and unlock like a sandbox mode and make it all fancy looking. I wasn't bothered about that part.
I just found the controls for the buildings were not good. So it made it really, really difficult. Like, you'd find that you'd built something and you'd run out of space and you wanted to select a whole section and move it over by one stud.
Yeah, that
but you couldn't. You could only select one brick at a time.
Yeah.
And it was just difficult to do a lot of stuff with it.
It was the nice bit of like you had to collect animals and things. I quite like a collection kind of game.
Yeah.
But, I wasn't very good at the building part.
Yeah, because it's certainly from the little bits that we've seen of this new 2K Drive, it does look like it's got some ability to build your own sort of race cart or whatever it is that you want to build, and then depending upon the build, it will then affect the performance of the car. So obviously, if you're building a big car, it'll be heavier, and so I think it'd be interesting to see how they implement that, because I mean, tech, you probably know from using Studio and things like that, it can be quite fidgety.
Yeah, and I imagine, like you said, like what seems like a very simple thing, I imagine when there's like endless possibilities in terms of like combinations for different things. I don't know much about it, but I imagine the programming with that is quite something. But yeah, I'm really interested by this 2K game. I saw Emily's vlog earlier, and yeah, it looked quite good. I used to play. I played the Lego Star, like the classic Lego Star Wars ones, like mad. Loved those. I bought the new one, the Skywalker Saga. I pre-ordered it and everything, like with the intention to go through it, and I just never did. My love for video games has definitely dwindled as I got a bit older, but this one looks really fun. Like I kind of want to get involved with it, but whether I do or not, whether I find the time to, I don't know. But it does look like it could be fun. If there's like potential for like online co-op and things like that, I think it could be really good fun.
Yeah. I think with this style of racer, it's basically always in the mold of Mario Kart with the Lego spin on things.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they do the build, because the build mode will obviously be a main point of differentiation from any other sort of karting game or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing which certainly in terms of the Lego games over the years, played all the like original Star Wars ones which came out in bits and pieces as the films are being done in the early 2000s or mid 2000s. Got fully into the Jurassic Park one, but then I really like that sort of theme. The kids are always drifting in and out of the different ones. The thing which I'm getting a little bit more concerned about, and you're seeing this now with Mario Kart, is they're now going for, rather than doing new games, they're bringing out extended tracks and doing upgrades and that sort of thing, and you're seeing more of the paid sort of upgrades and download content and things like that.
Right.
And particularly with the kids just now getting into Fortnite and seeing how much they're starting to spend on that. It's like, it just seems to be gone are the days you pay for a game once, you get the whole thing, and you enjoy the experience. It's always like, how can we do more microtransactions?
Yeah.
I was discussing this earlier with my youngest. He wanted to buy a car in Rocket League because that's the game he's into. And like you say, yesterday you could buy a game and play it to its full potential and not have any add-ons. Now it seems that buy this track, buy an extra car, buy an extra pack, and it soon mounts up. You basically, by the time you bought all these add-ons, you could have bought another game.
Yeah. No, it's... And particularly with the Fortnite thing, like what they're mainly getting into buying is what they call the skins and things. And it's like, you're literally just buying a texture to put over the outside. Okay, yeah, there's a little bit more than that, but it's kind of like, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting when the girls get old enough to be interested in stuff like that, see what happens.
Just won't tell them about that stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Just make sure you got your parental locks on.
Yeah.
So they
We already
can't buy
had-
some of that.
They already
your
bought a
permission.
whole load of stuff, didn't they?
Yeah. But I think when Hayley was 1, she decided to chew on the Now TV remote and accidentally bought the sport package for us.
That's incredible.
She used to love remotes. Yeah, we had to try and find a one that wasn't connected to anything. 'Cause
Yeah.
Very frustrating.
It's really weird. Like, both of the girls, when they were little, they would use stuff and pretend they were phones and walk around talking on them. And we're like, we had no idea where they got this from, because me and Carrie hardly ever talk to anyone on a phone.
No, yeah, we never use a phone as a
You
phone.
know, we'll send messages and stuff, but it's very rare for us to be talking to someone, but they still picked it up from somewhere. And so anything that looked even vaguely like a phone was then a phone. So they'd pick up the remote, play with it for hours and leave it in a completely different room.
Yeah.
It was very frustrating trying to turn anything on in our house.
Kids, eh?
Oh,
I think we covered most people. Nicole, have you ever sort of been into the Lego games?
Not really. I'm not really into games. I tried to. I bought the Switch, and the only game that I really started playing that I really spent time with is Animal Crossing. I absolutely love that.
So you started to get into that. Oh, nice.
Yeah. I would love to be a gamer. The only thing that I struggle with is I suffer from motion sickness. So everything that moves and I'm not moving, I'm not doing well with.
Yeah. I used to play, back in the day, a lot of the third party or for the shooter games. And it would take a lot to start feeling nauseous from that, but that's like sitting down for 8 hours and playing it and things like that. And then went along to one of the kids, they did a laser tag, and at the end of it they had like the VR sort of thing set up, and I found after a couple of minutes of that, where you're sitting there with the Oculus or whatever, it's like, oh, motion sickness really bad. And it's just like, I don't know. Is it just getting older and not being able to tolerate these things anymore?
Yeah.
So with the VR stuff, some of it is really, really bad for motion sickness. Like particularly anything. So I've played a couple of things where the movement isn't quite right, and you'll be moving. So if it's a game where you're walking around, then that's fine because you are moving and everything's working okay. And then the other ones are normally where you use the controller to point at a position, you click and it just jumps you there. Those are fine. It's when it's trying to use a mix of the like joystick to move plus which way you're looking, and if they get it slightly wrong, then you find that you're just moving sideways in a way that doesn't work, and you can get sick from those really quickly. And particularly if you're looking at like kind of free games that you can get, like development games and stuff, a lot of them can be really nauseating.
So it's the sort of thing, if the calibration, or just not calibration, but if it's not spot on to what you're kind of used to, or you're controlling it as such, then you can get inherently just sick from it by the nature of it. Is that sort of what you're saying? Yeah. Okay.
I think I played one, and it was something. The movement on it was really weird. So like it was used the joystick to move, but you went forwards, backwards, and side to side, which is that's not an intuitive way to move. You want, like, you're moving the joystick to the side for you to turn, but turning was all done by you turning your body. But yeah, you'd turn to look at something, and then press slightly sideways on the joystick, and suddenly you're spinning and turning and sliding across the place, and
That's awful.
it was not nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling dizzy just thinking of it.
Yeah.
And hello to the Bricketeer. Great to see you along. Hope that you're having a good day. Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that, Ian, because there's certainly, the Flight of the Skyline at Legoland is really enjoyed that and had no real issues with that. Years ago, when we went to Disneyland in Florida, they've got the Avatar ride there, and that was amazing. And that's a similar sort of thing where, although you're sort of more fully locked in, because it's like you're riding one of the dragon type creatures or whatever. So, and that's got a fair bit of movement in it, and a lot of those things have seemed quite seamless. And then some of this other Oculus stuff it's really put you off quite quick.
Yeah, it's possibly the hardest thing to get right in a VR game is making the movement work so that you don't feel sick. and so the indie games and the startups, they can often struggle with it a lot.
Yeah. And rounding out this evening, we have Kerry Brickapix. How are you going?
Hi. I'm good.
Hi, Kerry.
Hello, Trevor's Videos. Welcome to the stream.
Thank you
How
very
are you all
much.
doing? I was watching you a little bit, but I was hold on a minute. I was watching you a little bit whilst I was working, but we've got some visiting bigwigs tomorrow, so I was doing some cleaning, and I've just left the junior managers there doing a deep clean, and it's I've got a funny feeling they're going to leave it dirtier than what I left it. So I've done all the cleaning that you can see, that the bigwigs are going to see, and they decided to do deep cleaning on the bits that you can't see. And the first thing they did is all the tables are spotless and the bars perfect and everything that you can see. And the first thing they did is they walked in with like big cans of Monster and stuck them all over the tables and left rings on it. It's like, oh no. And they're going to clean like under booth seats, which nobody looks at. Oh well, never mind.
So was this the sort of thing where, because I think you said you couldn't stay for long, I have to kick you off at a certain time?
I'm good for until about 11:30 or so.
So to when? Sorry, I didn't quite.
About 11:30 or so, I'll be good.
11:30.
So,
Okay. Yeah, no,
I don't need much sleep. I'm fine.
You're fine. And what are you looking at building this evening?
So on my stream, I didn't manage to finish my room of requirements, so I'm just going to finish building that.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, didn't do any years.
We've got Brigadier, the Mythica rides at Legoland Deutschland so much better than Windsor. Okay. Interested to, you know what sort of makes it better, or is it just a newer version? And then minifigure who? Gary!
Hiya guys, how are you?
Cool.
So I made a boo-boo today. Tech, did you go online and book your slot for the shops and things?
I didn't. Someone else purchased my ticket on my behalf. I'm hoping that they went and done it.
Well, I forgot and went on at 5 o'clock, and every single slot had gone.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah. So great. Also, Sam's messaged me today to tell me that he doesn't want his ticket anymore, so I've got a ticket spare if you know anybody.
Okay, cool. I will keep an ear out.
Which
I think
also
he's got
does
work,
not have a slot.
yeah.
So yeah, he's got a work, bless him. So, but I've now got a spare ticket. I don't really want to give it to. I can do it where I hand it, because they're sold out, so I can do it where I hand it back to them, but then I get my money after.
Yeah.
It's just like I'd rather give it to somebody that needs it, you know.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can trade it in for a Friday night ticket.
Worth asking.
But then do I need it a Friday night ticket? I take it we're not allowed to discuss Mandalorian.
No.
Not yesterday's. If you want to go back to the previous week and talk about the episode that wasn't Mando, by all means.
I'll just say that I may have cried a little bit and cheered and shouted at my screen. That's all I'll say.
Excellent. Sounds like enjoying it at least, which is good. So the other thing which I've been doing is, did a short during the week, which was the top 5 expensive Lego sets from 2021. Does anybody want to take a guess what some of the expensive ones from 2021 were?
8080. Is that 2021 or is that 2020?
That's 2021, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2020. Yeah, end of 2021.
2021.
The
Yeah.
Hogwarts icon set was.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know whether that was really expensive though. Can't remember.
2021. What else come out there? What other icons? I guess there's obviously going to be like this. Was the Cyan 2021?
Wait a minute. Was the world map 2021?
I was thinking Colosseum. Was that 21?
Yeah. Was Colosseum
Maybe.
2020?
I think it's a bit of a blur.
Yeah.
Which is which year?
I think
Was the
Colosseum
Daily Bugle? Was that 2021?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, was that? I have a funny feeling it may have just been at the tail end of the year before. So, alrighty then. Well, I'll go through and yeah, it's almost like we can remember what was last year, but then when you go beyond that, it's like
Yeah.
what was
Yeah.
it?
It was very COVID that year, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think 2021 was
Top
the
5 most expensive Lego sets. 2021 edition. Can you guess the most expensive? Number 5. Number 4. Number 3. Number 2. And number 1. Did you guess this was the most expensive?
Was the Titanic 21?
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
How is that a thing?
One out of five.
Calgary's shocked. Look. Oh my god.
How did that happen? So
I don't
yeah, no,
know
it's
anything about Technic when we think expensive.
Yeah.
well, it's interesting because the Technic ones, the flagship, which used to be the largest in piece counts and things like that, usually because you'd have like 500 pins,
Yeah.
and they were notoriously the most expensive ones for quite some time, and now you might get one on the list. It's interesting to see how that's sort of flipped, but I think Tech, he just says Star Wars, probably because he's bought them.
Yeah, pretty much. Completely forgot about the gunship though.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because you
But it doesn't
last week
seem
when we had the
new
Razor
thing.
Crest, you picked that one.
Yeah, that's what there were. Typically, Star Wars is at the top end of those expensive lists. I was saying the other one that I was crossing my mind was Diagon Alley, but that was 2020.
That was definitely 2020.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah,
you
I
bought all
don't
the
think
diorama? Sorry, Gary.
Oh, yeah, it's easier to know 2020 because we knew what we were doing then. 21 and 22 have sort of merged for me.
Yeah.
Home, doing nothing.
Yeah.
I think the other interesting thing, which I know because I've obviously put the video together, but the total value of the top 5 sets for 2021 was actually £50 more expensive than the combined sets for 2022. So it's in all other things being equal, they're sort of about the same level. I mean, it's still ridiculously expensive. It's the better part of $2,500 for 5 Lego sets.
But we didn't start moaning about the price of Lego in 2021. We started doing it in 2023, 2022. So.
You must have been living in a land of bliss. Like I thought, being an AFOL, if you're not moaning about prices, that's a prerequisite, isn't it?
I don't know. In 2020, I was loaded. We didn't spend anything.
Okay.
It's like I can remember panicking about money because we were on I was on furlough for 3 months and got a bit of a loan off my mum, and I'm like, can I not pay that because I'm just panicking because I'm only on 80% wages, and I got to the end of the month and I've got £500 left after paying everything out and stuff, and I was like, do I tell my mum that I've got money left? No, I'm spending on Lego. And I think that's when I bought Castle. To this day, she does not know. That I was absolutely fine.
You mean she's never going to watch these streams?
She's not got it. She ain't got internet, my mother. She's 70. She's 70.
Does she see your sort of Lego, or does she know? How does she respond?
She thinks I'm nuts. But, she thinks it's nice. But if she knew how much I actually spent on it, really, I think she'd be a bit shocked. She's a very, very tight Yorkshire woman.
Yeah.
I just tell my mum that everything was on sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my mum still penny pinchers and acts like she's poor, but she's not.
It's how the rich stay rich.
She's not rich, but she's not, she's not poor. She's not she's retired now, and she acts like she's gonna, not be able to afford eating and stuff, but I've seen her bank balance.
Yeah. So I think, Trevor, when you first came on, if I heard you correctly, I think beforehand you were into Technic. Was that correct?
Yes, when I was growing up being a teenager, anything Technic I was into, anything. And yet now I tried going back to Technic and building a kit, and it just killed my hands. I don't know what's changed, but I just didn't like it, didn't enjoy it. Not so much as the bricks.
When
I was the same. I think Technic's got more technical now than when we were kids. We had the new matching
like all
things as a kid.
All the little pieces that I don't know. It's just something about them. It seemed harder to do. That's all. And you can really tell once you've done a Technic kit now. It just tells on your hands, I think.
Yeah, I find Technic really painful.
When you were looking at the Technic before, was it the current system of sort of like lift arms and that, or was it more the brick-based pin system?
It was more the pin system.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's because I was much the same. I originally, as a kid, I loved the Technic stuff, and when it came out of the dark age, I was certainly into a lot of the Technic stuff. I just find a combination of, since they've switched over to Control Plus or whatever, that's just a nightmare, and that's completely turned me off. Beyond the fact that it's so much more expensive than the previous powered up stuff, and it's just so much harder to use and try to do anything with. And a little bit too, some of it's become really, really complicated, and if it's very unforgiving. If you make a mistake, it's like you're pulling it apart for an hour or two to figure out what's gone wrong.
And with Technic, you imagine trying to pull all that apart. It's been difficult enough trying to build it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, because I've had to do it a few times, and it's been over dumb stuff. So, yeah, which is a bit of a shame, because it's certainly a very, very different way of thinking. But that said, I think we commenting last week, there's a number of builds now that you do, which is almost Technic in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bowser?
Yeah, I mean, Bowser's got a lot of Technic in it.
Yeah, so did R2D2. He nearly went out the window.
Yeah, everyone found him frustrating, didn't they?
He was a really, really good build, but you just don't expect him to be that technical. And just like one little thing that was wrong, and that's it, his legs wouldn't work. And I got that thing wrong after watching somebody else get that same thing wrong. Did exactly the same thing.
It's like the new Land Rover Defender. That the underpins of that with the suspension, that's quite a bit of Technic as well.
Yeah, no. When they first leaked the pictures of it, just I could see, because of the way that the wheel had gone so far up, it was certainly going to be a sort of thing. This is going to have a pretty heavy Technic in it, and whether or not that's going to line up with your is it called icons now? I mean, whatever that range is, like that's, and I think even as Ben sort of commented here, you do a sub-assembly and then trying to line them up, and because of the way they do the angles, occasionally it's really difficult. You've really got to be paying attention to what's going on, because if you get them slightly out, you won't notice it for a while, but then when you do notice it, it's painful. Even Ben's commenting on the R2D2, very unforgiving, and messed that up. So,
did you see Tiago's review of that new Defender? He wasn't really a fan of it. The build experience, anyway.
Is it the one that's coming out next week?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And I think part of it was... Yeah, you couldn't put it down flat because of the way that it was always slightly offset and things. So...
that one's definitely going to be one for Land Rover fans, isn't it? Not for actual Lego fans.
Oh yeah, it will sell.
I think
it will sell.
It will sell. It'll be a combination of the Land Rover fans. It'll be people who are collecting cars at that Icons or what used to be Creator Expert. But maybe it's because I think we mentioned last week it's going to sell for I think £219, or is it 209? And a couple of years ago the 89 Batmobile was that price. So it's kind of like, I just don't see, being worth that sort of thing. So
no, I agree.
I'm trying to talk my friend who's wanting to buy it into waiting a couple of months, but I think he wants it straight away. He's a Land Rover fan, not a Lego fan, so I told him it'll go down there, but
Yeah. Oh, I think as has been pointed out, because you got that technic element into it, before if you're a Mustang fan and you want to buy that Mustang, like, building it was relatively straightforward. But certainly if you're going to have that thrown into the mix, it's going to make it a lot more interesting.
Me and Bowser are going to head to bed, I think. That sounds weird, doesn't it? But he's far too young to still be up this late, I think. He's look, he's even yawning. Wait for it.
he's right cute. He looks like my cat.
There's his yawn. So we're going to leave Ian making a stand. I might actually leave Bowser with you. I don't think he's
okay.
Yeah, don't take me to bed, Carrie. That's weird.
I think it'd be really painful to like roll over onto.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the spikes. That's not going to be comfy in bed, is it?
No.
But the thing is, he looks like a cuddly toy, like the size wise, but he's just not very cuddly.
That's why you have to do Bowser chicken.
Okay. I don't think I have the skills to make him into a chicken, but I'll let Ian think about it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Could I just throw him and make him fly? Actually, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, let's not throw Bowser across the room.
But yeah, I'll leave Ian to continue building the stand, and I will pretend to go to bed and then be in the chat in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
I can lie down then and pretend to sleep.
Did you want to get a plug-in for anything you got coming up, or can you trust Ian to do that a bit later?
I'll trust Ian to do that.
Okay, then.
I mean, he's vaguely trustworthy.
I'm very trustworthy.
Sure you are.
Alrighty then. Well, thanks very much for joining.
Yeah, thank you, mate, and Bowser is
Take care.
I'll put him on the thing.
Bye, Carrie.
I can't get out. I'm stuck in the room again. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And yeah, I think Ben's sort of echoing a bit of that sentiment. You know, he loves the car line, but he's not sure about that one. So
I love my cars, but I have the technical Land Rover. So I guess one is enough, right?
It's a different
depends how much. I mean, if you've got it, it's going to depend upon how much you love Technic. Because
it was fun, but it is challenging because, as you said, when something goes wrong, it really goes wrong. So if you build a building and you have 3 bricks left on the table, it's one thing. But if you have 1 gear on the table, bad news. Don't move on with bricks. I have done that. Like, okay, I pretend I don't see you.
yeah, I certainly remember the one time the big red crane, I messed that up, and it was kind of the opposite. It's the 1 gear was a little tiny one, and it wasn't in the set. So went through, built the whole thing, and even just as you're building it, so like something just doesn't quite feel right here. And then it didn't work properly. It was sort of like an hour to figure out what was wrong.
Right.
I think it was the better part of an hour and a half to pull it apart to get to that place to put that gear in, which I had to get out of my own collection, and then another hour and a half to rebuild it. It was just
Now that you mention it, I had a similar situation with the roller coaster. I had 1 gear left, a red one, and I checked the instruction. It was only meant to be there once, and I had 2 of them. So I was fairly sure that it was correct, the way I built it. But then it didn't work quite well. What I did was I didn't put them into the right order. Just the order of the gears weren't right. But actually, it really was a second gear that I got with a sec. That really threw me off.
I found that roller coaster was really a pain in the ass because I think some of the columns hadn't quite been pressed down properly, and so you tried to attach a track and it would work fine, and then a bit of it would pop off, and you push that on and a different bit somewhere else would pop off, and it was frustrating trying to get all of that together.
I get mad. Yeah.
Can't remember the X-Wing being very technical, Ben. That's one of the first UCSs that I built. I can't remember that being very technical. Maybe I'm wrong. I did build it a long time ago.
You probably blocked that bit from your memory. That's how it works.
It was very samey. You had to build 2 big things on one each side. Oh, getting repeat, yeah, definitely. Repeat. Build, repeat, yeah.
I guess one of the Sorry, no, you go.
Building the wings of the big head rig was very samey. Because obviously you had to build 2 of them, it was just like, and you had to build, they were all different, these different feathers, and they were all the same, so it's like, But the worst thing I like to do with that is the sunflower. It's awful.
Yeah, we skipped the sunflower because it didn't look very exciting.
No.
It just looks very repetitive.
I it online and picked something else halfway through the build. I'm not doing this. Sorry, if you wanted to see it, I'm not doing it. When it said times 42.
Oh. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the set which would probably have the most repetitive elements to it, and I'm thinking it's probably the Colosseum. Just because of the way that it is.
But what I saw from the Eiffel Tower, it looks very, very repetitive. With all the columns and all the structure, it looks as if you built 5 building steps 100 times.
Yeah. That doesn't look like a fun set to build at all.
Not at all. No.
Was watching a was it a Brixie video? I think the last day or two. It's sort of like he's talking about the price of Lego and stuff like that. But part of it was he mentioned the Eiffel Tower, and basically it was the most repetitive build that he's ever done, and he absolutely hated it. So.
Not mine.
The one I'd like to build is Titanic.
Same.
I would love to build that. It's just, where would I put it?
Yeah.
And again, Wiki Brick do a display case for about the same price as the kit.
My mother-in-law tagged me in a post for Titanic today because somebody's selling one for £500 in my village. I don't know whether that's a good price. I've not really looked at it.
It's round about that price to buy, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's not a good deal. So
I think
you're gonna be able to sell it.
a little bit more than that, but yeah, no, it's not much. So.
That set was going for crazy money on eBay for the first year it was out, just because Lego never had it in stock.
Oh, it's on back order for months.
Yeah.
Can you remember the Millennium Falcon though when that came out? And each shop had 5.
Yeah.
I think that's when Lego realised people were crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that was the years ago. I was chatting with Kevin Hinkle about that because he was there when they were originally developing it and everything like that. And they were really worried about it because it's sort of like, this is like the original one. It's so expensive, and it's sort of like we're going to pull it out, and if it doesn't sell, they were quite prepared to just sort of take it off the shelves immediately, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then obviously. It's sold, and it's sold well.
It's still selling well.
There were people wanting it for Christmas and spending £3,000 on eBay for it and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, just wait, it'll be out. Just give your child an IOU. There's £1,000. After Christmas, you'll be able to buy one of those and something else.
Tech, have you seen the lighting kit for the Titanic? It looks awesome.
Yeah, I've seen one that one of my friends come across it, and it's there's a light kit for it. There's also a sound box, and it's just got people screaming. I know it's really sure that's appropriate, but part of me really wants it.
That's weird.
Surely if you're doing that, then you've got to, display it at an angle with half of it missing.
Yeah. It's just really? Is that really appropriate?
That's dark.
Yeah, so between buying the Titanic, buying the case for it, and buying the light kit, are we up to almost 2,000 yet?
Oh, gotta be. I've always thought that would look great in a custom made bath panel, and I don't know why, but that's, if I got that set, that's what I would want to do with it. Would have it built into a bath panel.
That's quite a good idea, actually.
Just be a little different.
Something different.
Yeah. But then it gets to the point of you're trying to find the most ridiculous, but you've got too much Lego that you're putting it in your, but you're incorporating it into your bathtub. I think we need to cut you off, and that's probably what I mean. Maybe I should stop.
I've just forgotten what we're talking about. Seriously, is we still talking about Millennium Falcon?
No, the Titanic.
Oh right. Oh, now I get the people screaming. I'm thinking, why were people screaming on the Millennium Falcon? Clearly was not paying attention.
Why would people on the Titanic be screaming? What? Or is it just more so tech so that when you're lying in a bath, they're just nice and relaxing, you can be playing with little minifigures?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh, Rose. The door was big enough for me to fit on.
That, or if your bath has a leak and it starts to fill up, it's historically accurate.
Yeah. Has this got a way to connect everything? They stopped doing a picture now where they connect all the things. They just say to you, there you go, crack on. Connect it however you want it. Oh.
That is really one of the big sets that I'm like, I do like that. I really, really like it.
I do the same, yeah. I'm with you on that one.
I just don't think I'll get round to being able to be like, okay, I'll go and spend like £500 on it. But I will regret it. I will absolutely regret it.
I've got no interest in that set whatsoever.
I love Lego.
I mean, I've seen Chris Ferns and have a look at it, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Because he displays it with an iceberg.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's not really something that's ever interested me.
Tech, would you be tempted to buy a Kobe set?
I am not really interested in Kobe, no. I've heard great things about them. But yeah, it's not really something I'm into.
But didn't Kobe do like the Titanic and do it in 3 different sizes?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least 2, maybe a third, but yeah, and I think the different sizes then obviously reflected different price points, which made it certainly more attractive. If you wanted a Titanic for 200, then you can get a decent one, sort of thing. Because I think when Jang did the review, because he had a couple of the other ones, I think he may have gone through all of them.
Yeah. And I think I
Gaz
heard
has
that the Kobe ones are quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gaz has popped just a sandbox play Ice Ice Baby.
We got one of the kids was doing World War II for history, so we got a couple of the Kobe tank sets and things like that, and they're quite good. It's just Kobe do have some really weird pieces, and it just messes with your head. You're sort of like, what is that? Like, I don't quite get that. Like,
yeah. If I was into a lot of the like modern military stuff, and I'd be just like completely priced out of like Brick Mania, then definitely I'd be on Kobe, because I think like the tanks are really cool. Some of the fighters look amazing. Like I've seen Cabbage with his collection, like they're really cool. But yeah, it's just not something that massively appeals to me.
Change the subject slightly. Not yesterday, the day before, I went through my mock and changed out all the brick pieces for masonry bricks. Can't really see it from this side, but it's all very masonry now.
That's cool.
Apart from down here, because I literally would have to take the whole thing apart to get to that bit. But I am now thinking that I need to do that. Yeah. I need to display it on Saturday, so probably best not do it now.
Yeah, it's probably best to leave it till after you've displayed it. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether I'm going to display it at Sheffield or whether I'm going to. Did not know I was on the big screen. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to display it at Sheffield or whether I'm going to do something different. I shall see. We shall see.
When's Sheffield?
Sheffield is September.
I don't know if we'll do Sheffield again. It's a good show, but it's such a long way to go.
Yeah.
Kerry, are you part of Northern Brickworks?
I am. That's what I heard you talking about when I put my thingy on. So yes, Northern Brickworks spans basically the north, goes across to Manchester. There's members in Wales, but it is countrywide. It is a good one to do, but basically the 2 main bits where you have a where we go to club beats are in Manchester and Sheffield. So it's at the start of the north. It's a
So
free
when
one to
they-
join though, and you can join it online, and there is online meets as well. So it's not necessarily where you have to get to an actual meet. And Northern Brickworks displays at pretty much all the well, most of the charity events. So we've got people displaying at Black Country Brick Show next week. Ours is in Workshop. The actual Northern Brickworks meet is show is in Workshop, but I think they display at pretty much quite a lot of them. So it's a good one to join if you're around that area.
Yeah, because Trevor was saying earlier he may be looking for a lug at some stage, and I don't know the UK that well, so I don't know if that's really the closest one for him or in his neck of the woods.
So where are you based, Trevor?
Staffordshire, near Derby.
So there's Gertlug, which is down that way. But that's more Bristol.
That's Bristol, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's Gertlug, then there's Brickish somewhere,
Everywhere.
everywhere. Then there's Northern Brickworks, and then there's Brickshire, and then down south there is London AFOLs. I'm missing two. There's Tartan Lug. There's only 7 registered lugs in the UK, I think. There's Tartan Lug, there's Brickish, there's Brickshire, there's Gertlug, there's Northern Brickworks, there's London AFOLs. I'm missing 1 minute.
Brick Alley?
Brick Alley. Where's Brick Alley based?
I don't know. It's up north somewhere, but I don't know how far up north and which side.
Yeah.
Trevor, you obviously were doing. You've done some sort of brick film stop motion sort of thing. Is that something new you've done, or what sort of led you into that?
Just watching quite a lot of stop motion videos, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give that a whirl. And sometimes you've got to have the patience of a saint because it's not quick. I've learned that my YouTube channel runs alongside my hobby, and I don't put pressure on myself to keep uploading content. I'll build and I'll come up with an idea, and when it's ready and I think it's good enough for an upload, I'll upload it. And that's the way I work with the channel. And it's grown pretty well since January, I would say. And like I say, all you guys you've welcomed me with open arms, and the people that you speak to and the people that you meet, everybody's just brilliant. So friendly, so welcoming. There's a lot of love, like I say, out there.
Oh, it's great to hear then, as somebody coming into the community as such, that it is welcoming in that way. But I think at the end of the day, we all like plastic in our own little ways. So
I do like stop motion though. I'm really getting into it, so I want to do more. I seem to have the patience with it, and I don't get bored of it. So it's something I want to carry on with.
Because to do that Castaway one, I know it's always how long's a piece of string question, but to actually go through and sort of film it and build it and do everything that you did there, is sort of how long did that sort of take you?
About a month.
A month, wow.
But bearing in mind, between family life and the two boys, I'm doing a bit each night when they've gone to bed, so 3 or 4 hours in the night.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you find out that you've done a piece and I'm not quite happy with it, so I'll delete the frames that I've done, 200 odd frames, and then I'll redo it again. And it does take a lot of patience, but no, to see the end result, all those hours and all those weeks, and then you watch the film back, and I love the editing side, getting the sound effects, getting the right music to it, putting it all together and watching it back that's very rewarding. It really is.
Yeah. Wow.
Very satisfying. Yeah, because I think you were saying before, you
you do all of that on your phone?
Yeah, I haven't got a camera at the moment. I haven't got a computer. Like I say, I'm streaming with you on my phone, so I'm not really a techie. But yeah, I just use an iPhone 12 Pro, and I film on it, I edit on it, and I do everything on it. So
Wow.
So
I'd
I
lost
can't use that
without
as an
it.
excuse. So I can't use that as an excuse anymore for being crap.
And I'll tell you what, it just shows you how far phones and what their capabilities are has really come on, because
Yeah.
years ago you wouldn't have been able to do any of what I've done on a mobile phone. But
Yeah.
now you can do practically anything. You really can.
What stop motion software do you use?
Stop Motion Pro.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, that's all you use. And I keep messing about with the frame rates. I think it's what you get used to.
Yeah.
It's the trick that I found is just to take your time with it. You know, little tiny movements are better than big ones.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned. And that's what takes the time. You do need the patience with it.
Yeah.
And I find as well, I don't know about yourselves, but there was a time in my life that was I found very difficult mentally, and Lego really helped my mental health, because when I'm building and when I'm working on a project, I find that whatever's in my mind, whatever's worrying me or I'm thinking about at that time, I'm in another world, I'm zoned out, I'm building, and it really has helped my mental health.
It's escapism, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's good.
You know, you're having a bad day or whatever. I run projects in the day, and I've got 1,000,001 things on my mind, and I just sit down and I build.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. It really is.
Right.
Just a quick shout out to Snowlaner. Yes, it is live, or we just anticipated you right at the right second to put your comment up.
Is this
and then going back to what Lego Lassie was saying, just popping in to say hi and shout out to Trevor. Such a genuine, awesome AFOL. Always filling my inbox and comment sections with positive vibes. You do the best. Yeah, and I mean I think most of us have seen that, and certainly been commenting on these streams a lot, and always here. So it's great to see.
I always really appreciate all your support as well, and the people out there. You know, without the community and people providing the feedback, it really does. Makes all the difference.
Yeah, I tell you what, the YouTube community for Lego is a lot different than, say, the Facebook community. I came into Lego from the Facebook community, and it was very, very male orientated. There were certain groups on Facebook which were just vile, and from that, a group was created called the Ladies Lego Lounge, which is now not just ladies, but we created that group on Facebook because of the crap that we used to get on the Lego groups on Facebook, because they were just so very male dominated, and especially the Star Wars ones, where they just did not think that you knew what you were talking about. Now there's a Star Wars group on Lego on Facebook called Lego Star Wars for Diehard Fans, and James Anton, the guy that runs that, it's a massive group, it's the biggest one on Facebook. He was after female fans of Lego at Star Wars to be on the moderators because of the violence that was on there. And I'm a moderator on that, and I have been for quite a few years, and the stuff I have to stamp on in that group, because
there's no need for it, is there? There's no need for it whatsoever. I've come away. To be fair, I've come away from Facebook altogether. I just can't be doing with it anymore.
My Facebook's basically, so I use Instagram for my Lego, and I use Facebook for generally real life friends. So some of them cross over, but that's how I came to realise that there's a massive fan base for Lego, and with Facebook as well, you have to use it because the lugs are on there as well sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just funny. It is changing now, but it's still very male dominated on there. With men that think they know more than you, so it's hilarious when you point it out to them that they don't at all.
Yeah. I'm so glad that at the beginning of the pandemic, that's when I started my Instagram account, and I was torn between using just my Facebook account because I already have it, or should I try something new? And I hesitated because I didn't want to I didn't want to tell my friends on Facebook that I'm into Lego, so I decided for Instagram, and they are the nicest people on Instagram.
Yeah,
They
definitely.
I found, because I've just recently, excuse me, joined Instagram over the last couple of months, and I found people are just so kind again and welcoming, and I enjoy using Instagram as a platform to help promote my channel and what I'm doing on my channel. So I combine the two together, and I find that helps. You know, you can advertise on your story that you've done a new upload, etc. And that's how I use it.
right.
With your Instagram though, because I that's how I went through it. Because basically, I had Instagram, which was connected to my Facebook, and then I noticed like a little tab that said, "Do you want another account?" It's like an ideas account or a hobby account. I'm like, oh my god! So you could create a hobby account from your Instagram.
Yeah.
You didn't have to attach it to any of your friends, because I basically don't want work friends or work people on my Instagram. On my Lego, because I know for a fact some of them are very young, and you know, I mean, it's not that hard to find me as Brick-a-Pix, but if they did, they'd be in the lives and they'd be making an idiot of themselves and get themselves into trouble.
Right.
Yeah, there's a couple from real life that go on there, which is totally fine, but I don't want work on there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
My work, if I talk about Lego, they say, "Oh, you're boring me now," so I don't even bother. Each to their own, you know. I enjoy it. I'll carry on talking about it. I'm not even bothered.
Yeah.
You know, they'll go to the pub every night. I'll sit and build. So what, you know.
And you know, as you commented a little bit earlier, it was a you know, for your mental health, or I think it's more just, they talk about when you're doing things, whether it's art or whatever else, you just get into a flow state where, you know, it's just happening, you're just enjoying it. You can lose track of time very easily because, you know, you're kind of focusing on what you're looking at. But I mean, we'll just pretend that Kerry's still here. We would have pretty much a 50-50 split of male females on this panel. Whereas when we first started, which is, you know, just around the COVID time, if you could get a female on a panel, you were doing well. Because I think at that stage it was sort of like maybe Sarah Starbricks, and that was about it. I mean, you then had, you know, Holly came along, Plastic Architect came along, and, you know, lots of people then sort of come along. So
there was a few, but probably you didn't see them. Like there was what's the lady called?
I mean, you had Brick Queen.
Lady. Brick Queen, yeah.
But I think, yeah, it's from my understanding, I don't want to get too much into it, there seemed to be some stuff which had happened, and which created the situation. So, but yeah, it and you know, it was very.
I remember those dark times.
I think it wasn't just stuff that happened. I think because didn't Brick Queen eventually give up on her account and have to create a new one because
no, she's back.
Her but I think for a while her account stopped sending out any notifications or anything. I know Jang had a similar problem with his account, and you know, so I think she looked at it and it just stopped working, and her numbers just plummeted because of it. She was making content and no one knew it. So I think she took a break from it, and then I think when she came back, maybe it started working again. But a number of people have had those kind of problems, which is always frustrating.
Yeah. And I think that's sort of then linking back in a little bit to what Trevor was saying, in that I think a lot of us use the Instagram to support the channel because you generally don't get the notifications on YouTube, or it's, you know, half the time people are getting unsubscribed because they haven't watched a video in 3 months or weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas at least on Instagram, you know, you've got, okay, yes, the reach is getting curtailed, but half the time, you know, I know I can jump into somebody's stream because I saw the notification on Instagram. Like,
Right.
that's just one thing I wish, you know, with YouTube, you know, if they've been good with the streamings and things like that, but if they really want to make it more effective and get people on the platform, you know, get that notification thing working properly. Like,
As long as YouTube are making their money, they don't really care.
I think they're, particularly once TikTok came along, you know, they had dominance on video for a very long time, and then obviously the short form content came along and eyeballs are drifting off that. And I think even if you do look at some, you know, big channels which have got 4 or 5 million subscribers, like, you know, outside the Lego sphere and things like that, you look at their numbers over the last year, and even, you know, you can tell that their long form videos have taken a hit, like, you know, by usually a factor of 10. They might have in the past gotten 4 or 5 million views on videos, and now they're getting 400,000 or 500,000.
Wow.
I think a lot of the eyeballs have been drifting across to shorts. Okay, yes, there's going to be a demographic there which coming across from TikTok or weren't there before. But I mean, you probably even done it too. You go onto YouTube and you might watch something, and then you drift across to shorts, and then you're scrolling through shorts forever. Like,
yeah,
very
addictive.
So
yeah, I don't watch. I don't think I see any shorts on YouTube at all. I don't watch them, so they never come up. Yeah, it just doesn't really interest me. And I've stopped with TikTok for a while. I was scroll on TikTok, but I've stopped that as well now.
See, I purposely not downloaded TikTok because of that, because I do it too much on Instagram and on so I've not got a TikTok.
I don't use TikTok either. I don't want to go down that route.
Well, that route might be going away, mightn't it? So
yeah,
based on what's going on in Congress at the moment, it didn't go well for them.
Well, they think they're kind of spying on them, don't they?
Yeah. Well, they know that they're spying on them. It's they think that the data is then going to the Chinese, which the Americans aren't happy with. That they're fine with the American companies spying on everyone because they keep the information in America.
Well, they can access it basically. So, but yeah,
it was one of my sons actually that told me to create a YouTube short. I never really bothered with it, and then I did that, and it's just gone on from there. I've just done some more.
They're quite easy just to throw out a shot. I can't remember what it was.
Tech, do you do much on TikTok?
I don't know. I downloaded it once for like a couple of days and was like, I can't do this. Like, I was just spending too much time on there. It was very short lived. Yeah, just not for me. I would just spend too much time on there. It wouldn't be healthy.
You'll sit there and then you'll find that you've been sat there for 2 hours and you've not done anything apart from watch stupid videos.
Yeah, and like I do that enough with like, if I've sat for like an hour on Instagram Reels before, and I've just come off it feeling like, oh my god, what have I just done? And I know TikTok would engage me a lot more because I think the algorithms are probably a bit better, and so they would actually put stuff that you would be harder to click off of. I feel like with Instagram, I get to a point where I'm like, okay, I've seen enough now. But I don't know if I'd have that same thought process with TikTok. But I mean, in terms of like expanding your brand and stuff, I think it's really great. And I think if that's something you're serious about doing, then you really have to be on there.
I'm all right with staying off that.
But I mean, it is a shame you've not got onto TikTok because you do have the best name for it. I mean,
TikTok tech.
TikTok tech. Yeah.
TikTok.
Take top tick.
Yeah. There's multiple combinations.
No, I found initially I got into TikTok relatively early, and yeah, it was such a time thief. I mean, it still is, but once Instagram started implementing their flavor of reels or whatever, unfortunately, I find that you go on Instagram and you might look at pictures or videos or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're on reels for like ever anyhow. Like,
yeah.
And I do get a very different feel between them. It's really hard to describe, but yeah. So, I'm just curious, Lady McBrick. You're obviously on a lot of sort of English-based YouTube or Lego content. Do you do much with the German, or is there a particular reason, or?
Not at all. And it's so strange. I do not get in contact with anyone. Maybe I'm not really trying hard enough, but I don't think that I know one German YouTuber. And not personally, just that I watch his videos. But other than that, I barely watch anything in German. I only watch international ones.
Okay.
It's so strange. I guess it happens because when I started with Instagram, the international ones were the ones who embraced me, kind of, because I needed help. I have no tech talent at all. So someone told me, "Hey, why don't you?" I posted something, and may the brick be with me. With you, Jesse told me, "You won! Congratulations! Do a story about it." And I told him, "What? Sure. Why? How? When?" And he really step by step led me through it at 3 a.m, and he is so kind, and he introduced me to other guys, and that's, I guess, how I am landed internationally.
That's cool.
Oh, cool. No, it's just always, yeah, because it's sort of like Germany, I believe, is one of the biggest Lego markets, and it's kind of like, so there's obviously people there doing it, and certainly when I've gone looking for competitive construction bricks, there's a lot of different ones done by like German YouTubers and things. So
Right.
yeah, no, it's always kind of interesting because unless I hope you weren't going on Greg's channel to learn English, so or geography, but
Oh, but you have a good point. It would make life for me easier if I knew people in Germany, because I always envy you when you go to Lego stores in London. You meet, you go to conventions, and then there's me thinking, "Oh, I would love to do that too," but
You'll have to come over.
Yeah,
Come over.
I have to. Yeah, that would be amazing. Matt, do you have a shed in your garden? Can I move in?
yeah, just don't mind the Lego.
I bring a lot of Lego with me. No worries about that.
I've
Actually,
threatened
that
Greg
could work.
numerous times that if I can't find a hotel, I'm stopping it in his shed. When I sent him a parcel over there, he gave me his work address. I think he's scared.
Oh.
Oh dear. I'm not going to stop in Greg's shed.
For a while, my dad worked in Germany, and you could very easily fly over. You used to be able to get really cheap flights actually from Southampton. I can't remember where it was he was working at the time, maybe Frankfurt,
Mm.
and they were really cheap flights, but unfortunately that company's gone bust, so maybe they were a little bit too
Flybe.
cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flybe left me stranded in Belfast.
No.
Yeah, when they went bust.
Yeah.
I had to take the car back to one airport, drop it off, and then get a bus to the other airport so I could get a flight home. And I had to pay like £300 to get my flight home and never got any money back. Thank you, Flybe. Belfast was great though. First time I've ever been. We went and did the Game of Thrones stuff.
Was that after they opened the big Game of Thrones thing?
It was when so not the thing that they've got open now. It was the Game of Thrones experience that we went to.
No.
Next to the Titanic experience, actually. But we actually went and visited all the filming locations. And when we got there, they were filming something. And whenever we were walking somewhere, there were drones and all sorts. It was so funny. It was a big shoot. And we're 99% positive they were shooting some of I'll get there in a minute. The new one. It was about 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice. It was all covert, and it was where they filmed. It was the forest. We were in the forest where they filmed parts of, where Brienne of Tarth is walking through with Jaime Lannister. So we found like the forest there, and we went down to the forest. We went down to the little bit where they first found the dire wolves. We went and saw that bit. We went down. We saw a few of the bits where they. I'm trying to think. Quite a few locations. So I've been to quite a few locations. So we've been to some locations in Iceland. We've been to locations in Belfast, and we've also been to locations in Dubrovnik as well, just to do little Game of Thrones things. Haven't been to Spain though. Only go to Spain now. To Seville. Is that in Spain? Yeah.
Seville is beautiful.
Is it? I've never been.
Yeah.
I really want to go. I made a pact with myself in 2019. No, 2018, that I would see a different country each year. And that ended in 2020. This year I'm trying to
So
get
what
to
that
France,
means
these
is
flights keep going up.
you've got a couple of years to play catch up, so you need to see 2 countries a year.
Yeah. Well, I was in Bonn. Was it Bonn? No, Cologne in March 2020. And then we got back, and it was like I went to the dentist, and it was like a week later. They were like, "Has anybody been to a foreign country in the last 2 weeks?" And I was like, and everybody just went like that. And literally a week later, the country closed down. So funny. So everybody says that I brought COVID back into the UK, but I did not. It was so funny though, because I went on a geocaching event, and we were in like a sports hall in Cologne, and we were meeting up with some of the Dutch guys that had come down, and then all my German friends were there, and we were like, "Hey, Elmo,
Oh, your German
we
friends.
hugging?"
I thought I'm your only German friend.
I'm sorry. I have many German friends from geocaching. I do apologise. We were like, "What do we do? Do we hug?" I'm in a big geocaching group. It's like a bit of a society. I'm in different societies, and we're all like massive friends, and we all meet. We did used to meet up at least 3 or 4 times a year in either Holland or Germany or Belgium. And that time when we met up, it was so weird because the Dutch were like, we can't touch you. And the Germans were like, "Come here." It's so strange. We were like, "All right then." Like, we didn't have COVID on the island at that point. And then 2 weeks later, it's like England shut down. Yeah. So funny.
So that's where you got it from, eh?
No, I got COVID. Literally, I did not get COVID at all until last year. And I got it from coming back from. I'd not been anywhere, obviously, since I was very, very good because I'm diabetic and my husband's got multiple sclerosis, so we've got to be really careful. Because we're both he's immune compromised and I'm just, yeah. So we were being very, very careful. And then as soon as we stopped being careful, that's when we caught it. And that was last year when I was coming back from Dubrovnik.
Yeah.
So poorly, so poorly.
Yeah.
I don't know how they let me back on that plane. I can act very well. Yeah. Got off the plane and just went. I just was not getting stranded in Croatia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe that I got COVID because of Victastic, but not from Victastic. That was just ridiculous.
I do think I'd got COVID a second time, like a couple of weeks ago, from Victastic, and it turned out to be just a little bit of a sore throat.
Mm.
And then everybody else at work's got COVID from different places, and I've managed to keep away from them. So,
Unbelievable. Yeah.
my boss has currently got COVID, but we're all going to work at the minute, so it's going to spread again.
Yeah, I think it's now got to the point where, I mean, the schools, you still have to send your kid to school if they've got COVID.
Yeah.
If they've not got, if they've not got a fever and they're well enough to be at school, then they have to be at school now.
Yeah.
So the girls' school are sending out attendance updates each week to say whether the classes are making their attendance goals and stuff to try and encourage people to keep sending their kids in. It's crazy.
I mean, technically, if they're not sick and they've just got a cold, then I think they're going for herd immunity, aren't they? A dragon fall.
Oh no!
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, it's just a dragon flying away. And Terry, I'm not trying to chase you away, but it is 11:30, so your call.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm wide awake.
Isn't that the problem?
Yes. Well, I've got to get up at 6:30.
So,
I have said to Greg though I can't go online tomorrow night because I do have to be awake at 6 on Saturday to get to workshop for 8. And I know for a fact if I go on London Calling tomorrow, I'll be wired and won't go to sleep. And I've got to pack this down. I've got to take it all apart, pack it down, and get the other 2 mocks as well. So yeah, I've got to do that tomorrow night. After a 12-hour shift at work. Yay!
Yeah, we have this morning. It was ridiculous. Like Carrie, I don't know what time Carrie's alarm goes off, but she's got an alarm that goes off sometime before 6. Then her backup alarm goes off at 6.
I like that backup alarm.
Whereas I have my alarm goes off at 6, and my backup alarm is 6:30. So I wake up with my alarm going off, look at it, and it's 6:30. So, I turn to Carrie, no, it's 6:30, and she just goes, "No, it's not." Yeah, it is. It is. You were meant to be out of bed half an hour ago. So it was a frantic morning.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I love the say it isn't true.
She just flat out refused to accept that it could be 6:30.
Right.
I am not a morning fan at all.
No.
Have you ever slept through your normal alarm and your backup alarm? Because I did the other morning. I thought,
Yeah, but the fact that between us we have 3 alarms, we normally manage to do okay. And then, but it was, we had the problem that last night Leah's shirts weren't dry, so we didn't put her clothes out. So, we get up at 6:30 and she's just, sat in her pajamas, drawing in bed. And it's like, yeah, no, you really need to be getting dressed now. And then Hayley just refuses to get up in the morning. She's just like, no, I'm staying here. You can't make me.
The old one or the younger one?
The younger one.
Yeah.
Because we were worried that because they're now sharing a room, we were worried that they'd wake each other up, but they can take a little while to get to sleep because they'll carry on chatting even with the lights off and everything. But then they don't seem to wake each other up at all. It's weird what Leah has a tendency to have nightmares, and so she'll wake up crying in the middle of the night and stuff. And normally at that point, you know, one of us will get out of bed and go and see her, and Hayley will just be sleeping through it. She doesn't wake up at all.
Well, that's good, I suppose.
Yeah.
I can sleep through anything. I'm terrible.
I find it.
I'm a really light sleeper.
My oldest, I find it. The older they get, the more to stay in bed.
Oh yeah.
They don't want to get up.
Yeah,
And yet
I
at the
remember-
weekend, why is it at the weekend when they don't have to be up? They'll wake me up early. I say, we don't have to be anywhere. It's the weekend. They were lying.
When I was at secondary school, I lived in a small village. I don't know, quite a large village, but I had to get the bus to school. But it was a ridiculous system that the bus took a really weird route to get to the school because it had to pick up people from all over the place. And then it got to school, you know, a good, I think it was maybe 20 minutes before the school started. And so in the morning, it was like, you'd wake up and it's like, well, I could get up now in time to get the bus, or, you know, I could snooze for another 15 minutes and then cycle in and still get there before school starts.
Yeah.
So that was always a tough decision. It's like more sleep, but then have to cycle.
Yeah, that's
I
not
can imagine.
right. I actually better go and get them because I've got to go get a bath as well. I might actually have a shower. Showers wake me up though. That's the problem.
I think we've just gone over the 3-hour mark, so we might just slowly start winding it down anyhow. So where should we start? Actually, we might start with Harry then. You want to either show where you got to with your build and sort of what's coming up on your channel, legoize and all those sorts of things.
Well, it's now all finished. It's all got its innards in, and it's got the fire dragon. So that's cool. And here are the lovely minifigures that it comes with.
Ooh, very nice.
Very nice.
And I don't know what I'm going to do with that, whether I'm going to break it down. I'll just pop it into my build just to add on to it, and then I might just break it down and use it as pieces for a bigger mock. What am I doing? So on Saturday, I will be at the North Notts Brickfest, displaying my Harry Potter mock and a few other bits and bobs. I will be streaming on Monday or Tuesday. I haven't decided which one yet. I've got a few things going on Monday, so we'll see how it goes. And the following Sunday, I will be displaying at Doncaster Brick Festival. Yeah, same mock. That's me.
Excellent. So one or two places people might be able to catch it at. Brilliant. Excellent. Where should we go to next? Ian, what is happening in the world of the brick bods and whatever you've just been working on?
Yeah, so I have kind of finished the stand. I've only tiled half of it because Carrie likes tiling, so told me she wanted to do half. But other than that, it's done. It's, you know, I don't really understand the point of the stand, but anyway. But in terms of the channel, we have just, almost 6 hours ago released the latest episode of the podcast, where we talked about brick shows and the whole displaying at charity ones versus displaying at commercial ones, which is a fun topic to talk about. Coming up, we will be on London Calling tomorrow, I assume. Just generally assume we're always there now. And then we will be streaming on Sunday, 8:30 UK time. And then the following weekend, I think, is the Black Country Brick Show in West Bromwich. So we will be there displaying the coral reef. And, if people nearby want to come along, it's always fun. I didn't make it to the show last year, but Carrie did. And she says it's a very good show. The only problem was that they didn't have any food that you could buy using card. It was all cash, and she didn't have any cash on her. So,
Oh, okay. Because usually these days it's the complete opposite. It's
yeah. So she was a bit surprised by that. I think she eventually found somewhere that sold waffles that would.
Who dropped something?
I think that might have been.
Don't worry about it. Carry on as you were.
We'll come back to tech.
Thank you.
Lady McBrick, Nicole, if you want to show the progress that you've made tonight, and then anything coming up on your various channels and accounts.
We have one banner completed, which is
nice.
I really like them.
I like them at a cheaper price.
Yeah, Amazon has them for €25, so it's almost 30% off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check
Wow.
Amazon.
Can you just open it up, and then I'm just curious to see how much actually sort of goes in front of that lenticular piece that we were sort of talking about right at the beginning. Okay, so is that?
Let me see.
Yeah,
This is moving. This is moving. And this is moving.
That's moving as well. Yeah. Sort of where you got the windows and things. Okay.
Right. But I have to tell, comparing this one, which is Ravenclaw, this is Gryffindor, and I have somewhere Slytherin. I like Slytherin best, and I think Gryffindor has the potential to be a good second. But this one does not move as much as I would like it to move, but Slytherin is the best.
Yeah,
Really.
the other one you held in your hand, when you're moving that, you could actually see on camera the stairs moving slightly.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, no. Oh, cool.
Yeah. And Gryffindor is moving as well. Gregory, Gryffindor. But with Slytherin, it really is a nice effect because the snake around his neck moves, and he's at one point smites, and one point he skirts rather. So Slytherin is the best one to get, and that one the second best.
The second one, yeah.
Yeah, but the whole concept I really like because you can close it up. It looks cool.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
No,
But it closes up if you do it right order.
It's a nice idea because they did the books the other year, didn't they? They opened the books.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And coming back to your what you said, Trevor, you can hang them. If you run out of space.
That's it. Right, I'm off to the shop to get some then.
Right.
Cool. So, Lady McBrick, what do you have coming up in terms of streams and those sorts of things?
Something really, really exciting because I'm about to finish the jazz club on Sunday, last stream with Fat Blondie, and I'm going to finish. Finally, we will see if my concept for the sign works out or not. And then I'm going to build Studgate.
Oh, nice. That'll be a good one to check out and see what you think of Studgate then.
Yeah, I'm so excited. My first Bricklink designer set ever.
I think I'm going to sell mine. My Winter Village chalet. I think I'm going to sell it.
Yeah.
Because I'm never gonna. I've got nowhere to put it, and from looking at how it was built when Carrie and Ian did it, I don't think I'll enjoy it.
It's a nice looking set once it's built.
Yeah, but it's only a mock. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is not. I mean, the girls are playing with it, but they have tiny hands and they're still struggling to play with it because you just can't access it at all. It's got some really small rooms that the roof is too low, and so you've got no space to reach in. But if you stick it on a shelf somewhere, it looks nice.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just one of those typical things. There's a limited supply on it, so I'm sure you'll more than happily be able to find somebody who'll take that off your hands at a nice price.
Mm-hmm.
And you clear some stuff out and use the money to buy some more Lego. So
Gringotts. So.
Yeah.
Gringotts when that comes out. Yeah. There we go over to tech now. Have we fixed any of our slight?
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
It's amazing.
That's massive, isn't it?
We got 2 bags. Like, this thing is humongous.
Right.
Yeah. It didn't look that big in the shop when I saw it.
It's huge.
Tech's quite small.
There we go. There's the
Don't start. We don't need another Greg on the stream. But no, it's a beast. So yeah, I've got 2 bags left. So I'll finish that on my stream next Tuesday. And I'll be doing a Let's Talk Mando episode possibly tomorrow, but maybe more likely on Sunday. About 7 p.m. UK time. So if anybody's about, wants to hop on and talk Mando, then let me know and I can fire you a link your way. And then posted a couple of videos in the last 2 weeks, so check them out, and I might have another one by the end of the weekend, hopefully. So
I
fingers
wanted
crossed.
to do the Let's Talk Mando, but you streamed it at the same time as my stream.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's all right.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So you're going for a hat trick of videos. I mean, is there something different in the water that you're drinking now?
maybe so. We'll see. I won't put too much pressure on it, but gotta be a prolific YouTuber.
Yeah. No, all jokes aside, it's good to see some of your videos coming out, and it's particularly getting your take on different Star Wars things and that. So it's great to see.
Awesome, thank you.
And then coming along to Trevor, hopefully your first little live stream you've enjoyed. Made some progress.
It's been absolutely brilliant. I've enjoyed every second of it. Thank you. That's a nice little printed easel.
Nice.
Vanguard.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then it is very intricate, the layers that you build on it, but it's really coming up.
It looks great.
That's awesome, that is. I've got mine to build. Yeah.
That's amazing.
If you look at the overall depth, look.
Yeah.
It is an amazing build. I'm really enjoying it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm only on the 3rd bag.
Wow.
Start live streaming yourself. If you do ever start live streaming yourself, though, don't build something like that on live stream. Because it's very hard to talk at the same time. As
point taken. Yeah, you do really have to concentrate on it. But it's going to be heavy. I don't know how I'm going to hang it on the wall, but to trust it.
Put a little piece of wood underneath it.
Yeah.
On the wall. Yeah.
But it's really nice. Really nice.
Oh, fantastic.
Wow.
All the different layers. Oh, piece come off then. I'll find that later before it goes up the Uber. In terms of the channel, I've just finished editing another one of my avatar builds. So that will be coming to the channel hopefully this weekend. So please do look out for that. I've created again a little bit of a cinematic feel and overlaid some footage from the original film. So and that's the last one and the last wave of sets before I start on the new Wave of Water set. So yeah, look out for that. And thank you again for being so welcoming, all of you. It's been lovely.
Been awesome to chat.
Yeah, no, it's been great to finally put a sort of a face to the name and everything like that. And yeah, it's been great
to
having
meet
you
you
all.
all. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And certainly, yeah, for anybody else out there, make sure you check out Trevor's videos, subscribe to that. I mean, right at the very beginning, we had one of his brick films, and just love the sense of humor that was in there.
You don't know how many takes it took to do that voice to get it right.
Oh.
It's funny because when you first had the thing there and it's like, oh, don't touch the shorts or whatever it was, because you're so used to looking at YouTube and going shorts, I sort of thought you meant shorts as in the actual video format. So,
Did you like my water reflection effect as well?
Yeah, no, that was great. I was looking at that. It's like, how did you achieve that? Is that just an actual thing that you've done on the program, or did you actually put that in water?
No, it's 2 frames and then they're flipped, and then you just do a ripple effect. So you've got a mirror image, and then it just ripple at the bottom, and it just makes it look like water. It's just an effect. There's something I'm picking up different effects, so hopefully my videos will get better.
That's cool.
As time goes on.
Yeah. Well, they're already at a pretty high bar, so
yeah,
we look forward to seeing what better looks like.
Yeah.
Wait till I get a camera.
Yeah.
Well, do you think you would use a camera? I mean, I thought.
I was thinking the other day that the way the phones are these days, it's, maybe not, because I'm happy with, I can shoot in 4K. I can do all the stop motion videos in 4K. So is there really any, and I can do everything on device. So once I've shot it, then I can go to bed thinking, right, I'll just do a bit of editing before I go to bed, and everything. You haven't got to upload it to anywhere. It's just, it's handy, it's convenient. So maybe not.
Yeah. My hubby's gone from using his camera to using his phone. I mean,
yeah, phones really,
back, but it works. It links up, so it does it through the cloud and then onto a
The only thing I would like is, I know on the iPhone 13 Pro, they did a new macro feature where you could go really close to the subject, and that would help me with stop motion, because I find that the iPhone 12 has the tendency to not focus, so you have to pull away, whereas actually I'd like to be against my subject a lot closer. So they're the only things, but I just get a phone upgrade.
Yeah, I've got 11, so it's worse. I'm going to upgrade to the 14, I think.
Yeah,
and the only other thing is memory. I'm drastically running low on memory, but I have heard that you can get drives that I could plug into the phone and download from that. So yeah, the more I do in 4K, especially, it's memory hungry.
Yeah,
it's gigabytes.
It's going to chew through it quite quickly, but I know, like, not that it's a high bar, but everything I do is just straight off my phone, and that's quite old. And for much the same reason, I do have a digital SLR, but by the time you're dealing with memory cards and shuffling stuff around and everything like that, I just find the phone.
It's convenient. You can go on a day trip and you've got your phone with you. You haven't got to carry a DSLR or tripod.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You're always going to generally have it with you. And then half the time I've got my phone automatically syncing to Dropbox. So if you're out for the day, by the time you come back, it's already uploaded on your computer anyhow. So it's there's certainly some advantages with it, but all right. Coming up on my channel, I'll probably do the 2020 expensive sets at some stage, and then back next Thursday again with you guys or whoever is up for it, if you haven't gotten bored with it. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, the usual sort of thing, like, share, subscribe. Everyone's details, I believe, is down below, so you can find anyone there. Just do a quick thanks to everyone who came along. Adora Build, who came in quite late, at least we got in there. Dan Lang Wing, Andy Seston's Bricks Builds, Zanzusi, Lego Lassie, Snolina, Ben's Bricks, Lego Bro, the Lego Brit, Minifig Who, King Ollendorf, Mutant, Monarch, and I think that's got most of them. Thanks everyone for coming along tonight. Always good to catch up and have a bit of a chat. And I think if anybody has any last minute things that they may have forgotten to say that they want to say.
I just want to say thank you.
That's right. Thank you for having me.
No, brilliant. No, it's always good to have everyone in. And yeah, again, great to meet you, Trevor. And hopefully we will see you again. Otherwise, good morning, good evening, and good night for everyone out there. And see you next time. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.